Bonjour. Is everyone feeling appropriately chilled out? I'm feeling pretty relaxed at the moment, except for how badly my throat hurts, but that's okay, because I have a lozenge. So, what's up? Thank you, XLR, so much for the tier 1 sub. I resubscribed for my Draconic Overlord. Exactly. That's perfect. And yes, I changed the colors for the subscriptions. So, shade, if you want, I can change it again, because I realized I took away your purple. But someone recently pointed out that it was like green and then a worse green and then blue and then purple. I was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and change it. So now tier 2 is that blue color. And then I made tier 3 purple and tier 4 is red. So I'm sorry if I screwed things up. I'm trying. Yeah, I'm glad that you're negative for COVID, mama. That's amazing. Very exciting. All good. I'm red, like blood for the blood god. True. Sometimes it's a red day, you know? Also, hello to the YouTube chat. I have not said anything to you so far, but yes, what's up to all of you folks? Good to have you here. Red is the sexiest color. I think that's kind of like objectively true. I mean, I don't know. It's like either red or purple. Purple is also a pretty sexy color. I actually have a set of red sheets, but I'm like kind of remiss to open them because I already have 4 sets of sheets. And I'm like, oh, I might as well not open these sheets and dirty them. And then eventually I'll just like sell them and I'll get a king size bed anyway, you know? What's up, Baphomet? Need someone to clicker train me into acting like a doggy? I feel like, you know, your commitment to the bit could be stronger if you require a clicker training in order to become doggy. I thought that it was so easy for trans femmes to become dog girls. I know that you're not non-binary. I'm making jokes. I set the LEDs for red for sex unless I'm wearing my blue lingerie, because then it looks black. True. Just cancels out. Yeah. Have you noticed that a lot of LEDs have that like flashing problem? And it's really distracting for sexy times, which is the main reason why I don't have colored lights for sexy times, because it's like headache inducing, you know? Like, you know, you can see it on these lights, particularly if I have it on this like bisexual color mode where it's gonna like oscillate through them. Like, at least for me, it's pretty noticeable how like you can see it on this wall, especially. Like, you can see the flashing of the light. So that's why we do other things. Come on. There we go. Now it's red. Amazing. Okay, this lozenge is almost gone, so I promise that I won't be disgusting the entire time. They're the sexiest colors. Patricia Taxon said something about using a shock collar that goes off when you do anything but bark, and it woke something up inside me that I don't think needed to be woken up. Oh no. New kink unlocked. Goodness gracious. So how has everybody been since Tuesday? I had a fairly chill Wednesday. I just had like bad health all week. Like, I've just been feeling chest pains and stuff, which is kind of obnoxious. But other than that, I feel like stuff is just sort of trucking along as per usual. Baphomet has good news. Okay, well, that's something. Got on Medicaid. Hell yes. High fives. Probably getting on hormones soon. Absolutely. I'm glad that got figured out. You haven't even been up there for very long, right? In Washington? So it's good to be on insurance. You need that. So here's my plan for today's stream. After we're done chilling out for like 30 or 40 minutes or whatever, however long it's going to end up being. There's Project 2025 that we got to talk about. There's the Texas, like, limiting usages of highways, basically to try to prevent freedom of movement for women who may or may not be seeking abortion care. Just like big time fascist move against the freedom to travel. And then there's a story about the Marion County newspaper where they They raided the newspaper, and subsequently, police raided the newspaper, and subsequently, one of the contributors passed away from a heart attack or something. So, I'm moving in with friends Monday. That's good news, I suppose, but I'll be less active in the Discord. No worries. I do appreciate how active the Discord has been lately. It's still like a pretty low-key spot, but it's nice. So if you're not already in the Discord, consider clicking that link. Seattle absolutely owns social services. It took a year and a half to process all my cases in Tennessee, and everything gets sorted with a singular fucking phone call here. And I don't get rejected like I did in Tennessee. Waiting a year and a half just to get denied is fucking awful. Yeah, no kidding. So it's like, yeah, if they're gonna deny you, at least let me know quickly. Like, at least let me figure something else out. Productive and happy about it. Need to make more slipcast molds. I'm pushing them too hard. They're starting to degrade quickly. Yes, I don't know basically anything about doing clay at scale. So it sounds complicated though. I just got off of some very scary politics with VGG, so I'm more than ready for anything you can throw at me. What was Vosh talking about today? I don't really hang out in other political streamers' streams, as you all know, because I have enough of that going on in my own life. Oh, he was going over Project 25. Cool, so you just went from one Project 25 stream to another. Excellent. Yes. Couldn't be a better way to spend the time. I learned something interesting from the YouTube back end. Sometimes they give us little insights, and one of the insights that they gave today was that there are, like, respondents will say that they would prefer to watch an event through the lens of, like, a person going over it. So, like, Barbie, it was the thing. It was like, content about Barbie is trending right now because so many people, like, want to interact with the material through the lens of someone they already watch or whatever, like, viewing the content, which makes sense. Like, there have been times where I didn't want to watch the Republican debate or whatever, and so I just watched Vosh watch it. Jonathan Keller, Luxander, you have a Fansly. I do have a Fansly. Yeah, I don't really talk about it that much, I guess, on stream, but I do have one. And I had an idea for a photo set that I want to do today that I could probably do, like, tomorrow. Like, maybe I'll take a shower in the morning and then do a set of pictures for Fansly. That could be fun. It's a safe for work Fansly, to be clear. I don't post nudes. Like, yet, at least. So the most chemistry-involved art form besides glass blowing in my eyes is ceramics, and that's why I love it so much. Barefoot. People apparently want the feats. No NSFW, you degenerates. Yeah. I haven't decided whether I want to post feet pics or not. I don't know. I feel like I need to tease that for a while. And just keep censoring out my feet. It's really funny. It's really funny to me to censor out the feet. Some people who post pictures online will, like, censor their armpit. Is this a new thing? People are into the armpits? This is dangerously close to flexing. I can't do it. You have to donate for flexing. Anyway. If you're enjoying hanging out, you should hit the like button, because we usually try to just chill for a little while at the beginning of stream. And then, even if you don't want to hang out with us, you can hit like before you go. You know? I have edema. If anybody with an inflation kink wants feet pics, hit me up. True. What's up, Ursa? Right now, we are just warming up here. Kind of talking about whatever. Being human beings for 5 minutes before we start talking about actual intense news. I love when I'm trying to watch a stream and people call me with stuff. And I can't be like, fuck off, I'm trying to watch a stream, because people get mad at that. But also they need to fuck off. True. Oh, what's up, Avi? I'm sad and here to hang. Well, hopefully we can provide you some company. We're going to get into the news here momentarily. Usually when I start at 5, it's much easier for me to say, okay, I'm going to spend an entire hour just warming up. Because really, like, it's important to me. I don't do very many streams that are just the whole stream is the purpose of it is to relax and have fun. I'm a political streamer. So I talk about all these very serious topics and this intense politics and like losing my rights and the rise of fascism and stuff. So if we're going to talk about that, most streams, then we need to have like a period of time before we start that topic on just sort of being human beings. Otherwise, like, you're not going to enjoy it here. I'm not going to enjoy it here. We have to like establish our rapport to start with. And just talk about what are we doing lately? How is life going? Or not be human beings, as the case may be. That is true, Silent. That's true. Where are my horns? I should go get them. I know where they are. They're on the couch. I'm gonna be right back. Oh my god, I'm gonna get my horns. Okay, I got my horns. I am here with my horns. I need to, like, glue this a little bit. Oh, they're so dusty. My horns are so dusty. I took them out to ye old Ren Fair, and they got real dusty. No. Oh, no. Okay, whatever, it's fine. Being human is overrated. You can just be an animal. Nobody ever tells you that's an option. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to know that that's an option. No worries, Jonathan. Your comments did not make things awkward. I don't really plug my Fansly. I just don't know why you brought it up. We were talking about the sexiest colors. I guess that's probably why you brought it up. I like my fur. I don't really have very much fur. Wow. Look at me. I'm made of human parts, so I'm more or less human. I think by a certain definition, I would qualify as human. Hurons. If I lean back far enough, you can see all of the Hurons. Yeah. America. Fuck yeah. Why? Okay, that's what I want. Yep. Yeah. 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 Yep. Look at me. I'm so cute. Anyway, we're not going to focus on that for forever. Anyway. Ooh, there's 45 concurrent viewers. So here's the thing, concurrent viewers. We are chilling for just a little bit, and we're going to start talking about Project 25 here in a little bit. If you want to hit like and then leave, that's acceptable. Or if you plan on staying here and hanging out, you can also hit like. We appreciate you. It's the beginning of stream, and it's good to get plenty of people here to start off with. I may look human, but make no mistake, if you cut me, a puppy will bleed. Or a bunny. Either. Maybe both. Puppy bunny boy. Yes, the Republican Manifesto, Dark Canuck. That is more or less what we're going to be going over today. I basically have 3 major news stories that I want to discuss. And that's what we're going to do. That's what I have decided we're doing today. Also horny stream. I'll probably take the horns off before we start talking about the serious news. Yes, exactly. This is the calm before the storm section. TBH, I would forget to like the stream if you didn't remind us. Well, it's good. I'm glad I'm not being too redundant. It's called a call to action. Like when I say, consider checking out my Patreon. $1 a month will get you access to exclusive stuff. I'm posting exclusive content on Patreon that's free also. So there's that. But yeah, we got to remind people to do the donos and the likes and the comments and the subscribes. I'm trying to tighten up this thing a little bit. Yeah, okay, that's a little bit better. I like when I get notification. You gotta turn on your notifications. Estrogen. I learned recently that estrogen is it's like carcinogenic basically. Like I found out that if you get pregnant and carry a pregnancy to term relatively young, like in your early 20s or whatever, you have a lifetime reduced chance of breast cancer. And I think for each subsequent pregnancy, maybe also. But if your first pregnancy that you carry to term is when you're older, then you have an increased chance of breast cancer. Like, why? I don't really know. I don't really understand it, TBH. Cash App is down for everyone in the world right now, and my mom is yelling at me like it's my fault. Oh, man. Just out of curiosity, are you opposed to having a girlfriend? Yeah, so fascinating question. Actually good timing to ask that because my partner and I were just talking about the potential of him coming on the show. Um, so I'm married and I'm monogamous and I'm married to a cis man, basically. And we have been I've told him before that there is interest because y'all, plenty of y'all are interested in the whole like, if you are, yes, he who led the game being banned from chat. Yeah, I lost the game. Yes, that's who it was. So I'm living with that person again, and I was like, people want to talk to you on stream because they want to be able to ask questions about like our relationship, because there's trans people out there who have cisgender partners who want to like find out how we like, they want to know how we worked through the trans thing, and like I think that that's really valuable, and I think it would be good for us to sort of provide an opportunity. It would be good to ask, how do you find good cis men? These are questions that we have. Considering that most humans have between 6 and 10 mutations that make them different from about 98% of the rest of humanity, I wonder if we need to look at creating actual next species in the evolution of humans. Crazy rise in mutations since World War II, and with the drop in infant mortality rate, more people with mutations are surviving to adulthood. Interesting. Yeah, I don't really know what the ramifications of that could be. That's mostly a technicality because having more breast tissue increases your risk of breast cancer, and having more estrogen means you have more breast tissue. Well, I mean, so that. I feel like what you just said is opposite to what would. So if you have, like, it's like the more pregnancies you have, the less your chance of breast cancer is. The less chance of breast cancer. And the earlier you get pregnant, the less you have a chance of breast cancer. If you like get pregnant when you're 18 and carry a pregnancy to term, then you have a lifetime reduced chance of breast cancer. But if you don't have, and like you have a huge amount of estrogen in your body also when you're pregnant. So it's not just the estrogen on its own. It's like something about the pregnancy like changes stuff. You do need to sign a thing saying you understand that estrogen increases your risk of breast cancer if you go on E, but like I was told it was just because it gives you breasts. It's not just that it just gives you breasts. It is also that like if I were taking birth control pills that had estrogen in them, that also can increase your risk of breast cancer. Because, yeah, like exposure to certain estrogens, I think, can cause it. I don't know. It's not just your exposure to the estrogens, it's how your local material like stores and processes it. It could be prolactin. It could be prolactin. Progesterone is protective, maybe. That could be. What's up, Naomi? How's it going? We're just vibing for now. We're gonna get started on the actual news here in a second, but I just wanted to be like a normal person for a few minutes. Does testosterone have a similar effect on cancer risks? I don't know that. So testosterone is correlated with prostate cancer. Like, for example, estrogen does decrease your risk of prostate cancer. No, I think that actually I don't think that it's estrogen decreases your risk of prostate cancer. I think that it's testosterone increases your risk of prostate cancer. And so if you reduce your testosterone, then you have less risk of prostate cancer. Because, yeah, girls who are on estrogen and like who are like post orchiectomy or whatever, like all that stuff, they don't have, like, trans girls basically have zero risk of prostate cancer unless you were like really old already before you started taking hormones, perhaps. What is the homologous organ of the prostate? I think it's the Skene's gland. So, in assigned female bodies, Skene's gland, it's like, it basically produces lubrication, essentially. Trans girls trade prostate cancer for an increased chance of breast cancer. Yeah, for sure. Estrogen does decrease the amount of semen you produce, and one of the risk factors of prostate cancer is overproduction of semen. Maybe that's part of it. Yeah, I think that it is like people with high testosterone are more likely to have prostate complications, but I'm not totally sure. These are the kinds of things that we enjoy learning about and talking about on my stream. There's 53 people here. Good to see you. You should hit like on the stream, even if you're going to go away. Hit like if you want to hang out. Go away if you want to go away. Skene's glands are two glands located on the lower end of the urethra in people assigned female. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Skene's glands aren't a well-known organ, but they play a role in your sexual and urinary health. The tissues that surround your Skene's glands swell in response to sexual stimulation. These glands secrete fluid during sexual arousal, which helps with lubrication. So my understanding is that the prostate is, like, part of the reason why you all have a prostate is because it aids in the production of the fluids that you make, you know? Which means that they are, like, truly analogous organs. Like, the Skene's gland produces fluid. The milk-like fluid from your Skene's gland contains similar proteins to those found in a man's semen during ejaculation. Researchers believe the Skene's glands may be the source of ejaculation in women. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's what the analogous organ is. Do trans guys' Skene glands change on T? I don't really think that it's been researched. Part of the reason for that is because you don't really have... We should have 69 people in here. True. That's one of the great things about hitting like, is that immediately more people join. So your Skene's gland is left intact during bottom surgery. Like, if you, whether you have vaginoplasty, whether you have phalloplasty, like, whatever, even if you have nullification, like, your Skene's glands are left intact. So I'm pretty confident that we just are not really sure. But you do continue to produce fluids. You know, if the Skene's glands, you know, if that all gets hooked up correctly to your urethra, then you don't really, like, ejaculate, but you can, like, leak fluids, like white fluids made by your Skene's gland after surgery, like after phalloplasty surgery. So true. XLR says, if you're watching on YouTube, please join us here on Site Chat, hang out and have fun. You'll always be welcome here. You can bust a nut. Yeah, it's like the weakest nut ever, and you have to literally, like, milk it out, basically. Not to get too graphic or whatever, but, you know, these are the fun things that I know about a bottom surgery. Just, we talk about penises sometimes, you know? We talk about the dick docs. We're losing people. Amazing. I wish I could do side chat, but I have to go watch on my phone at work. No worries. Taking birth control can raise the risk of breast cancer, but actually reduce the risk of ovarian cancer in people assigned female at birth. Yeah, I've heard that too. Ooh, I ordered some bras on Amazon, like, try before you buy. And so I'm excited. They're gonna show up next week, I think. Or maybe even, like, Friday this week. Ooh. I'm excited. I found out recently, y'all, that I have a size 32F boobies. Size 32F. Do you see how skinny I am? Like, this is insane. So, you know, I'm wearing a sports bra right now, so they're a little bit, like, stuck. Teen-specific Venmo ad on stream seems odd. Interesting. Saw that post on Blue Sky. Yeah, I'm posting on Blue Sky all of the raunchy thoughts that I'm having. Yes, yes, hello, hi. Dick's milk, high in protein. True. Yum. Yum, yum. Oh, God. Oh, have y'all seen this news about Danny Masterson? No one is allowed to refer to my Blue Sky outside of Blue Sky. Okay, yeah, no one's allowed to talk about Silence Blue Sky account. You can only talk about it on Blue Sky. I'm very excited to start getting more steps done for bottom surgery. Big news, my sweetheart is pregnant, and I am also hoping to be able to help with the breastfeeding on our little. I'm now able to full steam ahead on getting my designer vagina. Yes, that's so exciting. Yeah, Mama, that's consistent with what I've heard from other girls also. Yes, is he that guy from that 70s show who assaulted someone? Yeah, so Danny Masterson was he was called Hyde. He was the curly-haired guy on that 70s show. And he was charged and sentenced, finally, about raping 2 women. And so I actually think that it was probably more than 2 women, you know? But it was, he was sentenced to 30 years to life. Like, he's eligible for parole after 30 years. Yes, he's a huge Scientologist. So, like, part of the reason why... So, the sexual assaults happened in 2001 and 2003, the ones that he got convicted for. And the reason why it took 20 years to get justice on it was because the Church of Scientology was protecting him. And they were, like, threatening the women. I hate Blue Sky high key just because, like, the insular are having to wait months for an invite nature of it means you're basically fucked for alternatives if you're getting screwed out of your Twitter account. I mean, I think that the reason why Blue Sky is invite only is because, you know, if it were open, then they would get, like, huge rushes of people in all at once before they have the infrastructure ready. But I understand, like, why you would say that. I have 2 invites currently, if anybody wants one. It's weird to see a sentence like that happen to a rich person. Yeah, like, for a celebrity who committed these assaults during the height of his fame, because that 70s show was actively running until, like, what, 2006? So these rapes happened during that time, and, like, in the middle of that. And it's just, like, kind of... I guess it means a lot to see someone finally get in trouble for some shit, you know? But, you know, it's good to see justice finally getting meted out. And, I mean, it's effed up, you know? Like, he drugged people and then had sex with them in the no-no place. Like, you know, of the options of your holes, it's like the most painful of your holes. Not a good time. Hello, Anansi! I'd be interested to move my work account over. Blue Sky sounds okay for sex work. I follow so many sex workers on Blue Sky, okay? There are so many sex workers over there. That's part of why I feel like I can post about, like, all the random sex stuff that I post about on Blue Sky. That's frankly, like, that's a lot of what I'm doing over there. There's just so many sex workers over there. So I'm like, oh, this is the perfect place. No main social media platform as it anymore. I guess Blue Sky is my main social media platform. I guess. I mean, I'm on Facebook quite a lot lately, but I mostly am just scrolling. Exactly, yes, Anansi. Danny Masterson got 30 years. Hearts, hearts, hearts. They're still building up their infrastructure. On Blue Sky, the exclusivity angle is kind of overblown. I've given out 3, and I have another 3 invites because everyone I talk to is already on there. It's honestly, and I see people on Twitter posting like, oh, I have another invite, or I have several invites, and I'm just, does anybody want them? Maybe that's because people are not interested in joining at this point. Like, I don't know if that's the case. Could be. Oh, boy. Also a lot of furries. True. You're interested in joining? I mean, I can give you an invite code if you want me to DM it to you on Discord or something. I could do that. I deleted my Twitter accounts and I'm fucking homeless. Yeah, I'll give you an invite to Blue Sky. And then when I'm done doing that, we can maybe move into talking about some news. Because it's time. Copy. Where are you in my DMs? Baphomet. Baphomet. I think this is the correct account. Okay, there you go. It's for you. You can have it now. I will join the Discord post haste. Join the Discord! The more people on and getting codes means there are more codes going around. I just got on Blue Sky next week. Yeah, the more people who get on means that, like, whenever they give out codes, then more people are getting one. They didn't capitalize properly on the highest point of demand. Now demand is lowering because they never fucking opened it up. Yeah, I suppose. I mean, so personally, I just think, I'm not going to harp on it, but Blue Sky is, in my opinion, like the best alternative right now to Twitter. And I enjoy being there. There is, like, as Gayfesh pointed out, there is a cry bully problem on Blue Sky. But I block a lot of people. Like, I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to deal with you. I don't really want to talk to you. I have Discord, Facebook, which is dead, and YouTube, the only places where I can find gays in my handbox. I feel like Threads is now getting more people than Blue Sky. I don't want to be on yet another fucking platform owned by goddamn fucking Facebook. And, like, so no sex workers, no sex-related content. Queer content is gonna get limited because it's, like, sex adjacent. Like, Instagram constantly, queer people on Instagram are like, I'm posting fully clothed everything, like nothing racy at all, and I'm still getting fucking shadow banned. Like, no, I'm not gonna go on Threads. I'm on Facebook because I do the Renaissance Festival, and a shit ton of my Renaissance Festival friends are over there, and, like, my family. And there's just enough random bullshit in the timeline along with all those people that I want to see that it's like, okay, well, I can scroll Facebook for a while and find funny memes, and I'm in groups that I enjoy, Facebook, I'm on because it's like I have a lot of precedent on there, and even the ads can be funny sometimes. Facebook is great for Ren Fair work. Honestly, all my Ren Fair friends... I made a Facebook account for the first time in a while just to reconnect with family, and I got in with a ton of alt/emo queer groups. The main problem with Facebook is that Leftbook is very also crybully-ish. Oh, also, I will say, if you're a trans person who's interested in learning about surgery, like, Facebook groups are the way to go to learn about surgery, to hear, testimony about which surgeons are good quality, who has good bedside manner, like, who's going to be willing to work with you if you want an unorthodox surgical results or whatever, it's Facebook honestly is the place to be for trans folks. Yeah, true. There was a golden opportunity to capitalize on the whole Twitter thing, and no business geniuses jumped on making a clone that would be widely accessible. It annoys me how literally every leftist or left-adjacent Facebook group has how many genders are there as an entry question, because, like, I get the point of that question, but it feels diminishing to be asked that as a trans person. I would probably say to infinity and beyond, and then I don't know if I would get into the group. I don't know if they would let me in, actually. Is red working? Do we think red is working? I almost wonder if it's a little bit too bright. This one, at least. Is that... It's, like, less bright now. Yes? Yes. Oh, but now you can really see the flickering. Oh, I accidentally clicked the timer. Oops. Make it brighter. Oh, it's so bright. Yeah, okay, so that's just, like, a little bit better. Now it's not... Look at how low it can get. Oh, we have fun. That's too bright, though. Okay, anyway, sorry, I got distracted with my lights for a second there. I would just prefer it if they asked, is gender quantifiable, so I could click no. It would confuse chuds just as much. I've never tried to join, like, leftist groups on Facebook, to be honest. It's just not something that I've tried to do. It's not something that I think I would want to do. 52 concurrent viewers. That's nice. Did you see that video of that one guy crying and shitting himself about pronouns in Starfield? I didn't. Who was it? Was it, like, a poster whose name I would know anyway? Is it someone who I should be familiar with anyway? Heel V's babyface? He made WoW content. Oh my gosh. Okay. Should we react to that on stream? Like, should we... Oh, versus... Heel versus babyface. I see. I almost thought it was a play on Heelys somehow. We love Heelys. They're so fun. Zan, Vosh, and Shark all covered him. It's funny even if you don't know him. I mean, yeah, like, I guess this is the kind of thing that would be good to do on the channel. I'm so behind on my editing, because right now I'm trying to edit that big, long hearing that we went over like a month ago, and it's just fucking taking forever. The build-up is a misogynistic, transphobic rant. Oh, heels are bad guys in professional wrestling, and babyfaces are good guys. So he's a wrestling guy who started to make World of Warcraft content. Immersion ruined because pronouns exist guy. It's pretty great. It's pretty hilarious. Okay, well, I guess we'll do this. I know heel versus babyface for his mega whiny jacking off over WoW Classic videos back in the late 2010s. Okay, someone help me find it. Where is it? Where is the thing that I need? Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Why would you do that? It's funny AF. Okay. Starfield rant. Pronoun rant. Okay, did someone just clip this? Did someone clip just this part? I think someone... God bless them, clipped the 2.5 minutes. Does this seem right? Does this seem right if I were to click this, like, it's a 2.5 minute video? This is just a clip from it? Shush. Okay, yes, this is the same video that I had already clicked. Yes. Thank you so much, everybody. Maybe I'll give this one a little bit of preamble. Oh my god, what's going on with my straps? This bra is super old and the straps are all loose and it doesn't want to work for me. Oh my god, let me take my horns off so that I can do a serious moment here. Okay, it's very serious. It's very serious time. We have stuff to do. I'm effing tired, guys. I'm so slow. There's nothing serious about this. I know. I'm super serial. I'm super serial, guys. I'm super serial. I Kenny typed today. Kenny typed today. I just stared directly at my LED bulbs, and my eyes are gonna die now. Okay. I keep hearing about this guy raging over pronoun selection in this new video game, Starfield. I don't know anything about Starfield. I just know, like, it's a new game. It has, like, one singular option to do, like, in the midst of all this news about Baldur's Gate 3 and all the gay sex that you can do in it and all this stuff. I know I haven't talked about that on stream because I'm just like, whatever, it's a game I don't want to play. But for this, we have a nice 2.5-minute video. We can respond, watch this guy absolutely losing his mind, apparently, about the pronouns option in Starfield. Yeah, we gotta take his plight very serial. He's very serial, very serial. He's a very serial person. It's just space Skyrim. I've heard this before. I hope we get the mouth in the mic Lux tonight. If I get, on my next $10 dono, I will eat the microphone. Does that sound good? I've been practicing my deep throating, so that'll be good. I don't know, man. Okay, so let's see what this dude has to say. Let's see what's up with this dude.
I want to say something to you, Bethesda. Just want to say a little something. There is nothing I love more. Taking my headphones off. Fuck that. Bethesda. There is nothing I love more than to sit down, comfy chair, turn on my PC, fire up a brand new RPG, lose myself. Think, oh my god, just think of this world. Just think of all the planets I can visit, all the immersive things that I can get involved with, all the fights, all the relationships, all the people I meet, all the places I go. I'm so excited to go there. And you know, I love nothing more.
I mean, I love all those things. I'm agreeing. All those things are so good about video games. It sounds like he's ramping up to say how great this game is and how much he loved it.
Then, with all of that laid out in front of me, I love nothing more than to be dragged out at every fucking conceivable opportunity so you can fucking current day us.
He really just lost it for a second there. Is this from a live stream? Because he doesn't even edit out his, like, long pause.
Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Fucking pronouns! Fucking gender ambiguity!
Does he show anything from the game? Or is he just bitching about it? Because I just feel, for the sake of reference, like it's important for me to show you what it is that he's complaining about right now. Like, just so that we have a common frame of reference. I saw a screenshot of the pronouns choice. Okay. Okay, so here's a little video. It says name and, like...
Oh, you can change your pronouns.
This is the one... This is the whole thing. It's that, like, it's an optional thing. You can click to change your pronoun. It doesn't prompt you to change your pronoun. It just gives you the option. It prompts you to name your character. And it shows your pronouns there. He, him on this one. But it does not prompt you to change your pronoun. It's, like, so out of the way, this recommendation. So just for the sake of everybody being on the same page, that's what this is warranting this level of response.
Fucking current day Californian shit! Because that's all we fucking know! Because we're boring! We're so fucking boring!
I think this guy is gonna pop a blood vessel. It's like, are you okay? Yeah, just click continue. And then for the rest of the game, it doesn't say anything except it uses your pronouns that you chose at the beginning of the game. Yes, once again, making something up to be mad at. Yeah. Trans people don't exist outside of California. True.
We can't see past our own fucking reflection! That's the level of our narcissism!
Wait, does it not even use the pronouns? Like, it gives you the pronoun option at the beginning of the game, but then it is not even programmed well enough to correctly use them? So then it misgenders you? Really? That's pretty funny. The pronouns are bugged if you use they, them, and are on a feminine character. NPCs still sometimes use she, her. Oh no! Oh my god. Oh, that's too funny. Yeah, I guess that is a question that I have. What are the pronoun options that it gives? Like, is it the fact that it gives you the option at all that he finds so troublesome? Or is it that there are, you know, it's like, I'm betting it's just she, he, and they. It's not even, like, crazy ones, right? It's, yeah, so, okay, literally just she, they, and he. Okay. But yeah, you can't even have the option at all. Or this guy is, like, I just am imagining that I can see a vein on his forehead, like, pulsating.
Here, Bethesda Western Game Company.
Is that what that is? There might actually be a vein on his head.
Fuck your immersion. Fuck you having a good time. Fuck you falling into...
And it's also like, okay, so were you immersed during the character creation screen? He's bitching about having his immersion broken on a like pronoun customization prompt that happens at the end of the character creation screen. Hands up if you feel immersed in the fantasy storyline. Leftist camera, oh, is it doing it again? Hands up if you feel immersed in the storyline of a game during the character creation screen. You know, like, is that what everyone's experience is like? You're like, oh yeah, I am so on board with, like, I'm already deeply immersed. I can imagine this character swinging their sword and talking in a weird fake British accent. I felt so immersed in the story when I had to type in the character's name on my keyboard. Okay, the camera's back now. Good. Behave. Yeah, imagine the reaction if you actually had any cool pronouns, like its pronouns. I'm so lazy during character creation, I often hit random. True.
into a world and just getting lost. No, no, no! Current fucking day!
Oh yeah, and also the insinuation there that transness is like a newfangled current day thing and not something that would have definitely been present in a medieval setting, even though it definitely was, like, historically present in the medieval setting. You know? Mad as hell and not taking this anymore. You've also seen that, like, various memes contrasting the reaction between trans people when there are no pronoun options in games versus, like, these grifters or whatever when pronoun options are in the game. Just like talking about triggered snowflakes, trans people aren't out here freaking out because games don't have pronoun options. When a game does have it, we're like, oh yeah, that's cool. I might want to play that a little bit more because I have the option to not be misgendered or whatever. But like, we're not freaking out and like calling for a boycott or like getting a refund. I've never gotten a refund on a game just because it didn't have pronoun options, but people are getting a refund on this game for that reason. I'm gonna befriend enough game devs that I get surprised by my neo-pronouns showing up in a character creator. True. The full story here is he didn't do this rant in the character creation screen. He got past that, played for a while and was doing fine, until there was a character who is a woman but is cloned from a man. So he decided that means she's trans, and he riles himself up for like an hour ranting about trans people before stopping playing and doing this meltdown. Oh no. That's so pathetic. Oh, and also the game is in the future. Oh, that's funny too. It's not even a medieval, it's not even like a historical game. It was heartwarming to see vaguely anti-SJW types like the Act Man clowning on heel... Yeah, for throwing a fit over pronouns. I saw Chris Raygun calling him a baby, basically. Like, being like, there are people who get upset about this, and there are well-adjusted adults. And, like, that's the distinction that Chris Raygun made. Oh, gosh. We got a little while yet in this. Let's see what else there is.
Fuck off! You're boring! You're fucking dull! You have nothing to say! You are a one-hived mind twat waffle.
Twat waffle.
That's all you fucking are.
Oh, that's great.
And you wonder why people are getting so fucking sick and tired. You take everything we love, all our immersions, all our fantasies, all our escapism.
One game having pronouns is like ruining all of our escapism. Dude, go play Call of Duty. You're fine.
And you just can't help shovel your dog shit, fucking crap ideology into everything.
Dude, get back in the garage. My car needs fucking the oil changed. Go be useful. This guy needs a hat. Yes, all your escapism, immersion, and joy are now trans. Yeah, like, again, if your fantasy escapism world is one where, like, there are no trans people, you know, that doesn't really reflect well on, like, you existing at the same time as me in the through line of actual human history, you know? Like, it's like when black people are watching sci-fi stuff, and it's, like, the utopian fantasy of a future, and it's like if there's like more aliens than there are black people a lot of the times, you know, and it's like, why, like, what did you do to all of the black people? Why aren't there any? You know, if your hypothetical future amazing fantasy is one where there's like, you know, white people are out there chilling with aliens and it's all this high tech and, you know, ooh, it's post scarcity, but there's no black people, it's like, where did they go? What did you do? You did something, right? Yeah, like watching the Jetsons. Oh man, Ursa, that's funny. His blood is boiling so bad it's contributing to global warming. Also, the idea that science fiction has nothing to do with modern day politics. What? I can't think of a single famous science fiction story that wasn't some kind of allegory for real world stuff. I mean, the idea that stories are like moored in our world and the way that we tell our stories is like a reflection on things in our world is just really beyond these. You know, I knew that the education system in the United States was like messed up, right? But like I didn't also realize that if you get a public education in the UK, you're going to end up with like a pretty tragically underdeveloped sense of like literary analysis. It's depressing. It's depressing. 10 more seconds of this.
Every single solitary fucking thing.
Poor guy. Poor guy. He's gonna pop a blood vessel. Poor baby. Aw, look at you. Poor baby. Aw. 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 Yeah, this is what no media literacy does to a person. Who knows what this person's problem is? Like, it starts playing again. True. Maybe he got some fat tips during that. I don't know. If I raged like that, would you all want to, you know, drop a coin in the jar? Is that what we're doing? Stiff upper, yeah, stiff upper lip, chap. You know, you gotta pull your shit together. Games set in the future should have at least half the population be trans. True. Also, casual reminder that Data let his daughter Lal pick her gender in like literally 1990. Science fiction has always been doing this, and it's very silly to have this intense of a reaction about it, but it's, you know, it's kind of fun to laugh at, and also, you know, I hope he's okay. I'm gonna buy this game. Best review I've ever seen. True. Excuse me. Yeah, it's like when people complain about these new Star Trek shows and they're like, oh my god, why do you have trans people in here? Why do you have non-binary people in here? This is immersion breaking. You're just trying to force an agenda down our throats. And meanwhile, like, just rewind a couple decades, go watch The Next Generation again, and they had like the race of beings who like forced conformity to their non-binary gender system, and like Data letting his daughter pick her own gender. It was definitely transgressive in that exact same way. And these people just, I guess, have amnesia? I think they have amnesia. You shouldn't buy Starfield? Oh, I mean, I wasn't going to. I don't really buy games that much. I bought Tears of the Kingdom a few months ago, and then I played it, like, a whole lot. And I haven't played it in, like, a month now, because I'm not playing games. I'm busy. He doesn't want modern-day sensibilities to influence his media, but demands the gender binary be present. It's a flawed assumption that the world he was born into is natural and good, and anything that's different is new and forced and frightening. He's just... like, again, everybody is sucked into this idea that being trans is some newfangled thing, and I don't know that any amount of explaining it over and over again is going to change the repetitive nature of the conversation. Star Trek Enterprise had the aliens with the third gender. Star Trek Enterprise? I don't remember how... I feel like I watched that. I definitely did watch that show, but I don't really remember it very well. Enterprise was after DS9. That's also true. It was later. It was a prequel, but it actually came out later. I wonder what Gayfesh thinks of Enterprise, because I remember liking it a lot. I was friends with a graybeard at the store that I was working at the time who let me borrow his DVDs, because he was like, you should watch this so that we can talk about it. And I was like, cool. Worked nicely. All right, well, we did at least one additional segment that I didn't plan on doing today, so I'm going to add that to my stream notes. Let me see your stream notes. Stream notes. I shouldn't try to sing today. My voice is so thrashed. What even is today? Today is 9/7? Yeah, today is September 7th. Oh my god. Data is one of my favorite characters in fiction just because I relate to him on such a deep level as an autistic non-person. Yeah, I do think that Data is, you could easily read as, you know, the futuristic representation of autism on the show, because, like, yeah, like, it's another one of those things where instead of people of color in a sci-fi show like that, you'll have aliens. Like, you know, Gamora is played by a black woman, and, like, Neytiri, played by the same black woman. Like, you know, aliens be played by people of color. Worf, again, black person. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. And so in a similar way, you don't really have actual autistic representation. You have, like, robot representation, basically. They had LaForge. Was LaForge the only black person on The Next Generation who was actually a human person? Guinan is not human, but she is a black-skinned person who got to be in a humanoid format, but she was not human, to be clear. And then also, you don't really actually get to have queer people in sci-fi either. You have aliens that have, like, a different sexual reproduction system that is a stand-in for, like, some kind of representation of queerness. Data clearly feels emotions, but has also internalized the idea that he cannot. Yeah, like, you know, of course, the classic episode Measure of a Man, it's my favorite episode. I will go back and just watch that episode by itself. You know, like, he does have values and priorities that we would probably equate to an emotional experience. I've heard Brent Spiner knows that people view Data as autistic, but he says he's glad he didn't know people viewed him that way when he acted the role. Why would it have changed his production, his, like, in the Orville, the Macklins? I was really upset by that episode, if it's the one that you're referring to, if I know what you're referring to, Daryl, when there was like the race of all males, but some of the time they're born female, and like the parents choose to do like corrective surgery on the baby to make it male. It's like, that's, I was really upset. I didn't even want to go back and finish watching the show after that. To be totally clear, that is acceptable, IMO. Weird alien sex being queer-coded is based, considering it's a queer-coded form of sexual expression, especially on 90s TV. I mean, I'm just saying that it gives you the same kind of weird feeling of like, okay, there are basically no black people in your ideal utopia. It's like, okay, well, there are no actual queer humans in your ideal human utopia, and we only get to experience this. And it reinforces this idea. And like, yes, many queers have embraced the idea of being non-human, but we have embraced that because we are dehumanized first. Like, we are dehumanized by being treated like our experiences are so different to other people's that it's like completely alien, you know? It's like, that's part of why I don't argue that gender dysphoria is an exclusively trans experience, because cis people do experience gender dysphoria, and the more you tell them that, oh, you'll never understand what it's like to be trans, you know, this is a totally different feeling, you have no idea what it feels like, okay, great, thanks for alienating us even further, instead of creating a situation where people can empathize. Seriously, watch the latest Patricia Taxon video. It's about how autists deal with dehumanization. Data is mentioned in it. Well, I wasn't talking about how autists deal with dehumanization. I was talking about how queer people are dehumanized because queer people don't exist in these TV shows unless it is through the lens of, oh, it's an alien, it's a weird sex thing, or whatever. Like, it just kind of contributes to that sort of disconnect that we have where straight people and cis people act like, you know, our experience is so, like, you know, they can't imagine what it would be like to be like us. To be more exact, Patricia's video is about furry sex, and it's deeply queer in its messaging. It bunches up the queer question, furry question, and autistic question into one fun little package. Fair enough. No, uncomfortable. We have not started talking about Project 25 yet. We are probably going to get going on that here in a sec, though, because we have 64 viewers. Nice. And I know, I said the nice number prematurely. If we get 5 more viewers, and you can help by hitting the like button. I think I managed to finally consume enough salt that I'm actually absorbing water. I've been so dehydrated this week. Like, so dehydrated this week. And earlier I ate a yakisoba, which is like a ramen. And then I ate a bowl of Campbell's chicken noodle soup. And I was like, okay, I feel like maybe that'll probably be some of that liquid will get into my fucking cells. I did my part. Congrats. We actually lost one person instead of gaining. Ooh, we're so close to 69 likes, too. Right, yeah, it's the double-edged sword with embracing the monster rhetoric or image. Like, we could... You could lean into it, or you could... Wait, so eating salt helps you absorb water. Hold on, I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, if you get treated like an alien long enough, you feel like one. Like, at a certain point, you do kind of have to embrace it or be continuously harmed by the dehumanizing rhetoric, right? At a certain point, you just have to go, yeah, whatever, I guess I'm a fucking alien then. Or whatever the case may be. Excellent. So yes, Ursa, yes, eating salt helps you absorb water. Here's how it works. So salt and other electrolytes, it basically like, that's how stuff gets through cell membranes. So salt, if you take something like an egg yolk and you put it in a bowl of like a ton of salt and there's not very much moisture, what's going to happen is the salt is going to be a vehicle to extract moisture from the egg yolk. And that's how you end up with, like, you can store egg yolks and, like, salt them and, you know, preserve them a bit. And then it gets really umami tasting, and basically then you scrape, oh god, what's it called? You use, like, a grate, like a zester. You use a zester to, like, grate the egg yolk onto stuff. But the other way that salt works is like, that is the vehicle by which your cells get liquid into them. So if you have more water in your salt solution, like for example, I have some chicken brining in my kitchen right now in the fridge, and it's like a bunch of water and a decent amount of salt, but it's like a salt water solution, and then like other spices and stuff in there. And so the purpose of wet brining is that you absorb more salt and moisture into the chicken, which is why wet brining chicken results in the most juicy chicken compared to like dry brining or compared to not brining at all. So when your body needs water, if you don't have enough salt, you will just pee it out, right? Like, you know, for me as a person with POTS, I drink water, and then if I don't have enough salt, I'm like drinking water and I'm immediately going pee, and I'm drinking water and I'm immediately going pee. So sometimes I will just take the salt shaker and just like straight up actual solid salt in my mouth, and then I'll drink a little bit of water and like swish it and swallow it. Like, that's what I have to do in order to not... I'm dehydrated all the time. Like, I have a low blood volume because my body is not very good at the fluid transfer thing that it's supposed to be doing. When your cells take in salt, they can take in water alongside because of osmotic pressure. Yes. Are you telling me that's why I pee like crazy when I drink a lot of water? I have all other symptoms except mine is pre-syncope, not full syncope. Oh, I don't ever have full syncope, to be clear. I don't ever fully, like, pass out. But, yeah, I would say that if you're drinking a lot of water and you're peeing a lot and you feel like you're still thirsty, like, consider increasing your salt intake, but also, like, be aware that that can increase your blood pressure, so... That was the whole thing with Torchwood. Everyone was by. Jack Harkness was like the main person. And he was just always very aggressively gay. Well, super aggressively into everybody, I guess. Jack Harkness is not a character that ages very well in retrospect. Like, I didn't love it. The most recent time I went back and watched. I was like, he actually kind of sucks. I don't want to increase my salt intake. I hate how much salt is in everything. I mean, so unless you have hypertension, salt can't really hurt you, I don't think. That's the main thing that it does. And like, yeah, if you eat a shit ton of salt and then you don't drink enough water, then yes, it can dehydrate you. I used to add a little bit of Himalayan salt to my water. Just sprinkle a little salt in there. Pickle juice, gang gang. Gang gang. These bitches salty AF, complimentary. I am salty AF. I'm always salty AF. Okay, we got Project 2025 is on the docket. Let me get my links together here real quick. I have all my links together. I'm just copy pasting everything onto my document. Okay, I think that's all of that. And then we have the Marion County Record. And And then we have this abortion thing. Abortion stuff. Splendiferous. Okay. So theoretically, it's a good thing that when I'm working out, I prioritize protein, but everybody says it's unhealthy that I eat chicken nuggets for dinner at least once a week. I mean, the reason why chicken nuggets are not good is because they're fried. And there's, like, a lot of fat and oil in them. If you pee a lot after a carb-dense meal, get checked for type 2 diabetes. Yes, increased urination can be a symptom of diabetes as well. I needed to hear that thing about salt. I'm always dehydrated and I drink a lot of water. My stomach is always filled with water and I pee every 30 minutes. Yeah, I hope that that helps you all going forward. Because here's the thing. The condition that I have... Good luck out there, everybody. COVID can give you the condition that I have. I've always had it. But yeah, you know, so I would say be aware. Be on the lookout. I also heard that consuming a lot of sugar at one time can cause you to overwork your kidneys since they try to filter out the sugar from your blood, and thus you can get dehydrated from eating a lot of sugar at once. I hadn't heard that specifically, but it kind of makes sense, so... Oh no, being a frequent peer and then getting on Spiro has to be... I'm too soda-pilled to ever be desalinated. True, sometimes I'll get a soda even though I don't like to drink soda because of the sugar in it, because it has salt. It's got salt in there. Okay, so it's time to vote, alright? It's time to vote. We got 3 stories to talk about. And wait, I got COVID 2 years ago, and now I have the dehydration thing and get dizzy when I stand up. Hey, Forrest, you have POTS, probably. Google postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Because it's probably the thing that you have now. Get dizzy when you stand up? I vote but. True, Captain Cougar. I'm here for Project 25. Okay, so we have Project 25. We have... Small town Kansas newspaper gets raided by the police, semicolon, one of the editors dies of a heart attack. And then the third one is abortion, Texas limiting rights of women to travel. Yeah, thanks to the anti-vax parents for giving us COVID. Amazing. It sucks when you live with someone who's not willing to take precautions. Just fuck it up. You didn't cover the newspaper thing? I haven't yet. It's on my docket for today, though. They're all depressing. I know! Who else instinctually looks for something to grab when they stand up in case vision starts going gray? I don't have that problem, Avi, and so here I'll give you all a piece of advice, okay? My dear, sweet Horties. Here's my advice to you. If you're the kind of person who gets pre-syncope when you stand up, flex your calf muscles, like your thigh and your calf muscles, because it forces the blood flow. It, like, forces your blood pressure to start doing the thing it's supposed to do. If you stand up and you start to get dizzy, flex your legs. And it's not perfect, but it's, like, better than nothing. It's a trick that fighter pilots used to use before they had, like, gravity normalizing suits or, like, blood pressure normalizing suits. You know, they have, like, those padded compression suits, I guess, that they wear. So, yeah. Okay, it seems like everybody's here for Project 25, so we'll go ahead and start with that. Drink water. I also heard compression stockies are helpful, too. Wood pots also cause your limbs to fall asleep very easily. Yep. Yep, it does. Because you get blood pooling. Yeah, so compression socks can help with that. Compression leggings can help with that. I'll be, like, sitting down and my feet will start to tingle, and then I'll have to get up and walk around. And it takes, like, 5 minutes for my legs to stop tingling painfully. My friend told me to hyperventilate for a few minutes, and that always makes the dizzy go away faster. I personally wouldn't do that, but that's been a new symptom for me recently, and I had COVID a year ago. Hey, welcome! Welcome to the club, everybody. It's gonna happen to more and more of you. Join the club. I work from home because I can't basically work a regular job, partially because of this problem that I have. So, enjoy. Remember, skinwalkers can be defeated if you learn their true name and say it backwards. That'll send them back to the pits of hell. What if I just don't whistle at night in the woods? And then the skinwalkers will not come anywhere near me. You're giving me more and more reasons not to go to the party my mom's family is throwing for me. Agreed. Don't go to a party. I mean, do what you want, but I'm telling you. I can't wait to see what I get in the long term from my COVID bout. High fives. Yay. People say not to do it, but no one has given an explanation of why it would be bad. I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm just saying that I don't like purposefully hyperventilate myself, you know? Especially if I can do the legs thing instead. It's for me and she wants to throw it badly. I've not seen the family for 10 years. I mean, it sounds like it's not for you, though. Like, I'm like, if someone wants to throw me a party, then it should be for me. Which might mean that, like, the party is you send me an edible arrangement and leave me the fuck alone, you know? Sounds unrealistic. How are you going to get home without casually whistling? I mean, if you want, you want the skinwalkers to come for you. Why isn't autoerotic hyperventilation a thing? Same principle as asphyxiation, but lower chance of strangling yourself. I don't know. Is that a thing? Is this a kink somewhere out there in the world? Like autoerotic hyperventilation? I think it's like approach it from the other side. When the blood pressure is low, it's causing low oxygen, so over-oxygenating the blood for a second makes sense. But it's not like the problem that you're having when you have this standing up fainting problem is it's dysautonomia. It's a coordination problem where your heart rate and your blood pressure are not communicating correctly. So it's like hyperventilating yourself, like, okay, cool, so you're hyperoxygenating your blood, but your heart is not able to pump it any faster, you know? Don't whistle in the woods or after dark, even in the house in the woods. Also, don't follow a voice calling your name into the woods. The proper response is to think, no, I didn't hear that. Ignore it, but get the heck out of the woods after that. Mersh, I love how you're corroborating the superstitions that I'm putting down. Because, like, I follow just enough Native American people on the internet to get these like little bits of their superstition. I'm about to stand up to get more water. Everybody wish me luck. Good luck, Forrest. Yeah, Forrest, you're like 20 too, right? Man. Yeah, that sucks to be like, oh cool, I have a new disability at age 20. Great. 21 now, but yeah, that's rough. I'm sorry to hear that. BRB, gonna go stand in the woods near a sidewalk and call out random names. Skinwalkers are gonna take you. I thought JKR told us that skinwalkers were a myth made up because only white people get to be magical. I thought that there was, like, a Native American something or other in her extended universe, but I honestly don't know, and I'm glad that I don't know. Yay. I don't think I actually have POTS, though. Only have this issue sometimes. I mean, good luck and Godspeed. But I'm talking a lot to, like, people in the website chat who are, like, talking about it. They just legalized self-serve gas pumping in Oregon. Wow. You're not supposed to mention them either, according to lore. I know you're not supposed to say the word. But, okay. It's time for Project 25. We gotta do this. We gotta actually do the news. I don't need all these tabs. There we go. Follow Baphomet, who joined using my code on Blue Sky. I still have one more Blue Sky code. Decoy Duck. You're banned. Why did that not work? Oh no, I didn't mean to mute you for one day. I just meant to mute you for 1 minute. Okay, now you're unmuted. Yeah, you gotta wait a little while before you get invites. They trickle in, like a couple at a time. I don't really understand how the bot works. Anyway. Skinwalker gang on God. Oh God, a Nazi. Okay. I have to actually do a job now. Mama Mephistopheles has 3 Blue Sky codes right now. And if you follow Mama Mephistopheles on Blue Sky, you know, she posts nudes a lot, so there's that. Did you mute yourself? I didn't know that the mods could mute themselves. Okay. I'm gonna refill my jar of water. You all should get a jar of water, or some equivalent drink. Maybe get yourself a beer or something, because we're gonna talk Project 25 now. Okay, we're doing it. I wasted so much time. Okay, it's water time. Yes, girl dick on main, as you do. Ooh, what do you take for your joint supplements? Uncomfortable? I've been thinking about taking supplements for my joints. What do you do? I want 3 Blue Sky codes. You can't have 3. Oh my god. Oh my god, excuse me. Okay, there was a burp. Thank you, Avi. Wanted to update you. This stream has definitely improved my mood. Oh, good. Excellent. Excuse me. What are you doing, Baphomet? Why are you such a weirdo? I'll unmute you. Since you keep being a huge dork. Does this count as self-harm? I don't know. Alright. We've been watching this unfold for the past year and a half or so that I've been a streamer. This is my whole full-time thing that I do, is watch the news and see what's happening with the Republicans out there. So apparently they've solidified some of their plans. You know, this document was, I believe, collated by the Heritage Foundation, or at least it's copyrighted by the Heritage Foundation, but it is made to be basically the mandate for leadership, the conservative promise. And the idea here is that this is like a plan for the first 180 days of the next presidency, under the assumption that it's going to be won by a Republican candidate, you know? We lost so many people right before I started talking about this thing. So since we're about to get into talking about Project 25 and getting into the nitty-gritty details, consider hitting like on the video real quick. It is always super helpful. It's a free way for you to contribute. And, you know, you can always consider throwing me $1, or if you got $5 to donate, that's always good. Much appreciated, because understanding the law is a new thing that I have to be an expert at. I'm as a trans person, I'm an expert on sociology. I know about historical anthropology. I know about biology. And now I'm also starting a new career as a legal advisor, apparently. Yeah. Republicans taking the time to explain their evil plan. Truly. So this article from Dame is it's going to kind of lay out some of this for us, and then we'll kind of read into the actual thing itself. So in stark terms, Project 2025 reveals conservatives' plan to enact a sweeping "don't say gay" policy that will effectively remove all LGBTQ content on the internet. We already talked about the Kids Online Safety Act previously on stream. So yeah, it's basically a coalition of prominent conservative organizations, which includes the Claremont Institute, the Alliance Defending Freedom, Family Research Council, Hillsdale College, Heritage Foundation, Freedom Works, American Legislative Exchange Council, American Principles Project, and dozens of others. So this is, again, the first 180 days agenda for the next administration. Thank you so much, Forrest, for the $10 dono. Thanks for diagnosing me. You're welcome. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And yeah, honestly, good luck with the POTS. It's mostly self-manageable. I don't take any medication for it, so mostly you can self-manage it. Yeah, $10 microphone time. Oh, I did say that I would get inside the microphone for $10, didn't I? Wait, what? No femboy material? Wait, what about femboy material? Oh yeah, no, you're not allowed to do femboy material online. No, it's not allowed. Not permitted. What's up, Beth? Hello. At least they're dumb enough to reveal their evil plans before it's too late. I mean, I think part of the problem here is that it's like they can reveal their evil plan because it doesn't matter, you know? Like, there's no one left to challenge them on this. Dang. I feel bad that stream, like, immediately started getting shitty as soon as, like, I started talking about the serious topic. Everybody was only here to hang out, apparently. And then, like, 15 people left all of a sudden. Oh my gosh. Anyway. Yeah, no more femboy streams. It's not going to be allowed. The Mandate for Leadership is a 920-page document detailing how the next Republican administration will implement radical and sweeping changes to the entirety of government. This blueprint assumes that the next president will be able to rule by fiat under the unitary executive theory, which posits that the president has the power to control the entire federal executive branch, which is also based on the premise that the next president will implement Schedule F, which allows the president to fire any federal employee who has a policy-making authority and replace them with a presidential appointee who is not voted on in the Senate. This is basically a wish list for social conservatives and megacorps. The business wish list calls for eliminating federal agencies, stripping those that remain of regulatory power, and, of course, subsequently deregulating industries. Yeah, so the social conservative wish list calls for ending abortion, diversity and inclusion efforts, protections for LGBTQ people, and most importantly, banning any and all LGBTQ content. In fact, this mandate makes eradicating LGBTQ people from public life its top priority. Its number one promise is to, quote, restore the family as the centerpiece of American life and to protect our children. They're gonna be against gay people, all LGBTQ content, even the gay people who try to act normal. They are explicit in how they plan to do so, as you'll see in the paragraph below. They plan to proceed by declaring any and all LGBTQ content to be pornographic in nature. Here we go, let's go. Actually, I want to read this in the actual thingy, so let's... Oh, is it not actually in here? Is it not on the table of is it not in here? Oh, it's only over here. Is this not a quote from... This might be a quote from their website as opposed to from the actual document itself. So that's fine. Oh my gosh. Hello, Uncomfortable. Thank you for your tier 1 sub. You surprised me. It's not a man or a woman. It's a doctor. True. Thank you so much. Look at that. And all of a sudden, we're 1/5 of the way to me objectifying myself on camera, you know? Censored. Can't look at it. No. It's not allowed. Oh my gosh. Anyway, let me get my chat back up because I minimized chat for some reason. God bless. Mayo side, Mayo side. This is why I agree with Vosh to vote Biden to stave off the fascists at all cost. Listen, I live in Kansas. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I vote for Biden. I'm not going to just because I feel like I'm in a hostage situation. My vote in Kansas doesn't matter. You know what I'll do? I'll vote for everything else. But I don't think I'm going to vote for Biden this time. I think suck a dick. I think I'm not going to do it. Like, sure, if you live in Ohio or Florida or something, then yeah, vote for Biden. But, like, I don't fucking care. It sucks and it doesn't help anything. Exactly. Being queer or queer adjacent will be illegal, so even Finster will be hit. Like, you can be censored off of the American internet even if you live somewhere else, hypothetically, right? So, this, according to their website, I believe, pornography manifested today in the omnipresent propagation of transgender ideology and sexualization of children, for instance, is not a political Gordian knot inextricably binding up disparate claims about free speech, property rights, sexual liberation, and child welfare. It has no claim to First Amendment protection. So this is saying, like, being trans is not protected by the Constitution. Its purveyors are child predators and misogynistic exploiters of women. Their product is as addictive as any illicit drug. What? What are we selling? What are we selling, and why am I not making any money off of it? I need a piece. What are we selling? Their product is as addictive as any illicit drug, and as psychologically destructive as any crime. I didn't actually know that crime was psychologically destructive either. Pornography should be outlawed. The people who produce and distribute it should be imprisoned. Like, literally. So, I guess OnlyFans would be illegal, you know? Even you as an individual posting a picture of your nude body would be illegal, and you would be imprisoned. The addiction to transness. True. The addictive bussy. Educators and public librarians who purvey it should be classed as registered sex offenders. So if you're a trans teacher, or even a teacher who acknowledges trans people, or a librarian who recommends a book about trans people, you would be classed as a sex offender. And telecommunications and technology firms that facilitate its spread should be shuttered. So YouTube would have to delete my channel off of its platform, or risk being shut down by the government, basically. Why do Republicans think it's a good move to attack teachers? I don't really know. Yeah, exactly, Anansi. Remember what we were talking about Florida and making it much easier to convict someone as a sex offender for, like, having the death penalty? Like, it used to be, or I don't remember if they actually made this change. It's been a while since we went over it, but they were, like, trying to make it easier for a jury to vote, like, requiring, instead of, like, all of the jury, it would require only part of the jury to vote in favor of a death penalty for certain sex crimes. And then, of course, if you start classifying being trans or being gay as a sex crime, then, like, okay, you pissing in a bathroom at the same time that a child is in there, even if you're in a stall, is going to be considered a sex crime. And then, oh, look at that, we just made it easier to give you the death penalty, therefore we're killing people for being trans, you know? And it's not a slippery slope, because I can refer to actual evidence of this happening now. It's not a slippery slope. It's just actually what's happening to America right now. Yeah, so this points out, when they talk about porn, this includes any content discussing or portraying LGBTQ figures, even from children's books, all the way to the Trevor Project suicide hotline. And we can tell because we can see Don't Say Gay bills that have already passed, and this is exactly what's happening. They're saying that, like, yeah, potentially LGBTQ parents could be subject to arrest, imprisonment, and being put on sex offender registries for, quote, exposing children to pornography simply by being LGBTQ and having children. Like, these people will say explicitly that they think that our kids should be taken away. I've seen people talk about it on Twitter, when they see, you know, a pregnant man or like a man who just had a baby and like their photos of their baby and like them with their, you know, trans boy beard, and they say like, this is child abuse, you need to take these children away. And it's like, that's like child born of that person's own body, and you're saying that they're unfit to be a parent just because they happen to be transgender. Like, yeah, that's genocide when you want to steal children from the group because you're worried about them being raised to believe that trans people are good and okay. It's just part of the whole attempt to reduce the number of trans people, in the same way that you steal Native American children and like beat them for speaking their language and like forcibly cut their hair and prevent them from participating in their culture. And then, oh, you send them home, and look at that. Within one generation, they can't speak to their grandparents. Within one generation, you've destroyed Native culture, even though maybe, you know, you could say genetically Native people still exist. Yeah, remembering Elisa Ray Shoup's email leaks, the people who wrote this think they are literally fighting a holy war. These people genuinely believe in some crazy stuff. It's also likely going to criminalize any therapist, doctor, or counselor who provides affirming therapy to trans youth. Indeed, the document makes it explicitly clear they want nationwide bans on abortion and access to affirming care for trans youth. It's never going to stop with trans youth. While calling for conversion therapies to be the only available treatments, it should be argued, or it could be argued as well, that people who are visibly trans in public are pornographic or obscene because they might be seen by a minor. This understanding of intent is in line with the call to, quote, eradicate transgenderism from public life. Call back to Michael Knowles. Thanks for saying that and, like, you know, making it so easily quotable. Because it's hard to argue that what they want is not to harm trans people or like limit our access to public facilities or like our ability to exist in public. If they say we want to eradicate transgenderism from public life, that means you want it. It's like that sci-fi utopian future we were talking about earlier. Like their utopian future is one where there are no trans people, like where they've done everything that they can to eradicate us from public life. Oh, and of course, and they're not going to stop here. They're going to go after contraception, require child support from the moment of conception, maybe. Like, get rid of divorce. They want to get rid of divorce. Or at the very minimum, they want to get rid of no-fault divorce. It's hard to argue that you want to get rid of divorce entirely because it's like, oh, well, sure, if a man is beating his wife, then she should be able to get a divorce. But ultimately, they don't even believe in that. They just pretend to believe in that to get a foot in the door, to like, gradually erode your rights. Because they'll say, oh, you know, it's just reasonable that, like, oh, you know, you should require counseling or therapy before you allow a divorce or something. You know, like they'll say, oh, it's reasonable. But ultimately, they're just trying to undercut your ability to leave an abuser. Yeah, there's no words for how evil all this shit is. Like, at a certain, like, how many times am I going to cover this same thing, basically, this same sentiment over and over again, and like in an escalating fashion? Like, I cannot be more emphatic. I'm like tired as hell and my voice hurts, so I literally just like, it's awful. Like, please share the video. Like, I guess is all I can do. Like, tell people about it. They want to be Russia. True. Yeah, at this point, I'm unable to give a reason why someone... Like, yeah, like, at a certain point, like, if you target a specific group of people in a specific enough manner, at some point, somebody is going to freak the hell out about it. Oh, God. Let's see. Okay, so what does this say here? So talking about the internet, any internet service provider that transmits or receives data about trans people could potentially be liable if conservatives have their way. When you read the final sentence of the excerpted paragraph, the clear intent is that the same would apply to any social media company that allows any positive discussion or depiction of trans individuals, as that would be considered pornographic and contributing to harm to a minor. The organizations that drafted this understand that blue states which have sanctuary laws for trans people are unlikely to comply. For example, it's difficult to imagine California arresting and prosecuting teachers, librarians, doctors, etc., for existing in, or queer people for existing in public, which is why they included this paragraph, quote, "Where warranted and proper under federal law, initiate legal action against local officials, including district attorneys, who deny American citizens the, quote, equal protection of the laws by refusing to prosecute criminal offenses in their jurisdictions." So this is kind of like how, you know, Kansas passed SB 180, which made it illegal for me to use public restrooms. And then there were some local district attorneys in some places that were saying, we will not be prosecuting this in our jurisdiction. Like, we just will not be doing that. This is going to allow for those people to be, criminally held liable or just removed from office even though they were voted in. This holds true particularly for jurisdictions that refuse to enforce the law against criminals based on the left's favored defining characteristics of the would-be offender, race, so-called gender identity, sexual orientation, etc., or other political considerations like immigration status. So this is calling for the executive branch to use the Department of Justice to threaten prosecution of any local or state officials if they do not charge LGBTQ people and their allies with crimes under the pretense that they are breaking federal and state laws against exposing minors to pornography. So if people at the DOJ refuse to go along with this, then they can simply be replaced under Schedule F. While this excerpted paragraph includes references to immigration, the fact that it explicitly includes gender identity and fits in with the previous calls to designate anything trans-related as pornographic, this clearly telegraphs their intent. And, like, to be clear, I'm pretty confident that any Republican candidate who gets voted in is going to want to capitulate to the desires of the Family Research Council and the Heritage Foundation. You know, to some extent, I'm like, okay, well, this isn't like a law. This isn't like a bill that's been introduced that we're having to go over and pick through and find out, like, oh, what is actually materially going to happen as a result of this law or what have you, you know, when we're looking at this big, long, giant document. Cool. All right, amazing. Wow. Oh, oops. Okay. Like, this is the Project 2025 Advisory Board, Alabama Policy Institute, Alliance Defending Freedom, America First Legal Foundation, American Moment, American Principles Project, you know, Center for Family and Human Rights, like, all of these different things. And, like, so many of these different conservative organizations are, like, participate in the discourse. You know, they contribute to candidates financially. You know, that those are the kind of groups that these candidates are beholden to in a way, you know? Let's see if there's anything. Oh my god, there's so many contributing authors to this. Contributors. So many contributors. Wow, wow. Excuse me. I just want to highlight this, since I don't want to go through this entire thing. I just want to highlight, you know, the authors express consensus recommendations already forged, especially along 4 broad fronts that will decide America's future. Number 1, restore the family as a centerpiece of American life and protect our children. 2, dismantle the administrative state and return self-governance to the American people. Cool. Cool. Defend our nation's sovereignty, borders, and bounty against global threats. 4, secure our God-given individual rights to live freely, what our Constitution calls the blessings of liberty. Love how they constantly harp on about liberty, and they want to literally, like, restrict people from being able to marry who they want and, like, being able to dress how they want in public. Why is Crybaby still up? Oops, it's because I'm not really used to changing this yet. This is like a thing that I'm not used to having to do. Is that better? Yeah. Oh, no, it doesn't. It's not better because I messed up a typo. I typoed. Typo. Now it's better. I just forgot to change the thing because I'm not used. I forgot that I had this. Look at this thing that I have. Isn't that so wonderful? They're all funded by the same little cabal of billionaires, so it looks like a larger group. I mean, yeah, it's the thing. This is the problem with the fascist takeover, is that you don't need a majority. That's the whole thing about gerrymandering and like rigging the court systems and all this stuff. Like, that is the scary thing about it, is that you don't even need majority support. So when people tell me like, oh, you know, we have like majority support for trans rights, you know, most people are not on board with this. Like, well, it doesn't matter. They're using executive powers to steal like the decision making away from the normal process where we vote for a guy and then that guy votes on behalf of our interests, you know? In the best case scenario, if Dems win a trifecta in 2024, which I assume you mean like if we were to win in the presidency, House, and Senate, this document would still have an impact. These are the people who draft nearly all right-wing ideological legislation. Red state legislatures will take their cues from these groups, if not outright copy-pasting this document into a bill. Also, the Overton window continues to be pushed further right. The idea that getting only some of what's in this document is a compromise makes me sick, but that's how our governments will be operating. Yeah, IIRC, the Nazis never cracked 35% of the popular vote. Yeah, so that is the thing, is that when we say they're saying the quiet part out loud, what the scary aspect of that is that it means that they feel like it should be normal for them to say like queer people are all sexually predatory towards children, you know, that like that's the level of rhetoric that's been normalized. So when we talk about the Overton window, if you're not familiar with the concept of the Overton window, that is like the phrase that describes what is acceptable to talk about publicly, you know, like what is on the table politically speaking. Like the Overton window on gay people, for example, you know, when Bill Clinton was in office, it was like, you know, they instituted Don't Ask, Don't Tell and the Defense of Marriage Act, which meant that like gayness was not okay still politically. And, you know, gradually, like during Obama's presidency, really, the Overton window shifted a bit toward the left to say like being gay is normal and good and we should have gay marriage, right? And then like, if I may, I implore everyone to remember that we are putting the Dems first, but they will put us last, just like they do black people. So don't stop after Dems win. Like if they win, yeah, we can't. This is the problem with Biden winning last time too, was that all these Democrats were like, let's go back to brunch. It's time to go back to brunch. And it's like, no, this is the point at which you have to now pressure Biden to actually keep his promises, because he didn't. That's the thing, is that people became complacent because, oh, you know, we averted the fascism temporarily. Like, for how long? For not even 4 years, because, like, you know, we lost Roe v. Wade under Biden. We have seen a very intense erosion of other civil rights under Biden. You know, we're still separating children from their parents at the border. Malcolm X warned us all in the 60s. We put them first and they'll put us last. Yeah, like, I don't think that the Democrats are really going to try to push that Overton window, because that's what's happening. Like, the Overton window is being dragged to the right, where they're saying things like, yeah, we basically think that gay people should be arrested and like trans people shouldn't be able to be teachers and stuff. Like, increasingly ramping up that violent rhetoric. And again, casting us as harming children means that you can justify doing just about anything to us. Overton window is where our society sits on the overall left-right spectrum. Our left is relative to our Overton window, which is how we have a conservative party, the Democrats, as the, quote, left in America. Right. It's like if we're on a big continuum, and like, let me see, for you guys, this is the left. It's like if we're on a big continuum, like, you know, let's say in Europe that they're like, Overton window is like this big, you know, where there's like people who are calling for like expansions on like leftist issues, and then there's like anti-trans people and bullshit happening on the right, you know, and like increasingly their Overton window is creeping further to the right this way and getting more intense, and then this is like getting dragged further this way, as like we're focusing so much on the should trans people exist in public issue or should they just die, that like we are no longer asking the questions about like increasing welfare and getting rid of landlords or anything like that, you know? So like in America, if we're assuming that this left-right spectrum has value, which like I think it does have value to explain the issue, you know, this entire like quote unquote left side of the spectrum doesn't really exist. We're like center right over here, where it's like normal to talk about wanting trans people to be dead because we're all pedophiles. And like the idea, like so many very basic concepts, very basic human rights oriented concepts are considered super radical. Like the idea that corporations shouldn't own property is considered so radical that it's not even on the table to discuss. Like our Overton window, in the sense that the politicians control where it is, like there is no discussion politically about like whether or not it's okay for corporations to own property and to buy all of it up and inflate property values and screw everyone out of the possibility of owning a home, right? Like we don't have anyone out there saying, you know, we need to crack down on slumlords who exploit their renters or anything. We just don't have like literally anything constituting a left-wing party in the US at all. AOC got complacent and now she doesn't even fight for a lot of the things people voted her in for. I don't know if it's so much that she got complacent or if she realized that like she wasn't going to be able to accomplish her goals because nobody wants to do what she wants to do. And also like they literally tried to kill her, you know? Like on January 6th, there was a real risk to her physical health because of this insurrection thing that happened. Like she was concerned for her life. And so, yeah, of course she's going to be like less out there now. And I'm not saying that that's right necessarily, that she should martyr herself as a woman of color or whatever. But like, yeah, it is like, it makes sense that she backed down a little bit because she knows that she can only make progress on milquetoast level criticisms of the government. Let's see. So it's going to be one thing that's going to be curious to me is if any of the Republican candidates support the Project 25 initiative. Like, are any of them going to speak in favor of it? I'm not sure whether that's going to be the case. Yeah, Bernie's coverage in the 2016 election was censored by a lot of major newspapers because he called himself a democratic socialist. Time magazine or some news had to apologize. Yeah, like, you literally are being censored and you can't make progress on these things. Imagine if someone who was running for office legitimately tried to say that they think that, like, being a landlord should be illegal or at least very, very deeply regulated, you know? Like, they would be laughed out of the room. We're in a place in this country where we can't even argue for regulating guns without being like, oh, well, you're definitely not going to get enough voters to win, you know? And I'm not saying get rid of guns. When I say regulate, I just mean, like, regulating, like, whether if you have a domestic charge or a domestic warning that has recently been called into the police, like, maybe there should be, like, a limitation on when you can buy a gun. Maybe you have to, maybe mandatory wait times or whatever, you know? Like, obviously limitations on who's allowed to own guns can be weaponized against communities like ours and black people and stuff like this, so you got to be careful with advocating for restrictions on those kind of things, I guess. But we're just not gonna make any progress if elementary school kids can be shot dead in their school and then, like, we don't meaningfully change anything. Nothing is going to change. It's not like queer or trans people being targeted is going to suddenly turn on, like, oh, it's going to tug on their heartstrings. Like, no. I drink some water. I doubt any Republican doesn't take cues from think tanks like this. Right, yeah, I mean, we can say, oh, this is just something that the Heritage Foundation put together, but realistically, they are just codifying publicly what we have been seeing happening. The next conservative president must make the institutions of American civil society hard targets for woke culture warriors. This starts with deleting the terms sexual orientation and gender identity, diversity, equity, and inclusion, gender, gender equality, gender equity, gender awareness, gender sensitive, abortion, reproductive health, reproductive rights, and any other term used to deprive Americans of their First Amendment rights out of every federal rule, agency regulation, contract grant regulation, and piece of legislation that exists. And then, of course, this sentence about pornography that we already saw earlier. But, like, sexual orientation, like, they started off with sexual orientation. Like, gender equality, of course, they don't, like, gender equality, to be clear, if you all don't remember what it was like a few years ago, like, it didn't used to mean anything to do with trans people. Gender equality, gender studies as a historical concept has to do with women versus men and, like, the differences in their historical experiences, right? Excuse me. Yeah, exactly. Heritage Foundation isn't outside of the Republican mainstream. It is the Republican mainstream. So I don't know if there's any more depth that I can go into on this because of the fact that we have been talking about this exhaustively for over a year, but it's just sickening how they're codifying this and coming right out and saying things like allowing parents or physicians to, quote, reassign the sex of a minor child is child abuse and must end. Like, it for public institutions to use taxpayer dollars to declare the superiority or inferiority of certain races, sexes, and religions is a violation of the Constitution and civil rights law and cannot be tolerated by any government anywhere in the country. So basically, any attempt to address, you know, societal, systemic-wide, like, racial differences or sexism or anything, like, it's not going to be allowed. They say declaring the superiority of a religion is a violation of the Constitution, but you know that these people are they're gonna take Christianity and they're gonna say, this one is going up here. Pat, pat, pat. Love you, you know. Yeah, the way to defend free speech is to take it away from the wrong people. Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, pretty much a fucking nightmare situation. As per usual, support the Rainbow Passage, rainbowpassage.org. Donate there. Consider donating your time if you have skills that they need access to, because a whole lot of people are going to be making a mass exodus, if not just from one state to another safer state. It might also be like people making an exodus from this country, which, you know, there's not a lot of places that are going to be much safer, but the active kind of attacks that we're seeing increasingly ramping up in severity and, you know, getting closer and closer to that federal level, you know, it is going to be a fraught election. You know, even if Biden wins, we're probably not going to have, like, enough of a majority in either of the congressional houses to have, like, protections, like real meaningful protections for trans people. So basically, we're just going to be staving this off for as long as we can until it inevitably collapses and a Republican wins and they really seriously come after trans people. Like, we're on a trajectory here, and unless, like, there is a, like, unless some political violence starts, like, it's just gonna keep going. It's just rainbowpassage.org, y'all. Rainbowpassage.org. One long thing. Like, you know, or until they die off, but they're not going to just die off. Like, they're going to continue breeding this sentiment. You know how many fucking idiots on Facebook I see now? I saw an advertisement earlier today for a TV show that's going to be showing on Peacock about intersex people, about 3 intersex people. And all of the fucking idiots in the comments talking about the queers and talking about trans people and calling people groomers. It's like, people are not smart enough by and large, and like with public education continuously being defunded and with everybody catching COVID multiple times and suffering from fucking brain damage, like it's you know, there is no, oh, they'll just die and everything will be okay. Like, it's not going to be that way. Will even Oregon be safe? Is it going to be state by state rights? Well, that's the question. Like, if a Republican gets in, this document is stating that the executive branch should use their executive powers to remove from office individuals who were voted in these sanctuary states. So if there's like a governor or a district attorney or like a state attorney general who is saying, you know, oh, the state of Oregon or the state of Washington or the state of California, you know, we're not going to enforce this law even if it passes on the federal level. Well, guess what? They're just going to be removed. Yeah, Nick Fuentes is 24. This is not just an old people problem. Yeah, the damage they're doing to the education system right now is that they intend to propagate themselves. Thank you, John Get Bent. I really appreciate the $6 dono. Hell yes. No comment, but we appreciate it anyway. Thank you so much. Now it's at $26. Wow. I can't make any of the noises that I want to make. Oh, gosh. All right, can we be done talking about that? I'm sorry, Junebug. You said breeding me as a Christian didn't work, and I just... taking that out of context is pretty fucking funny. Smuggy. Smuggy. Body break? Body break? Are you saying you're going to break my body? I have a person who is assigned to do that already. I'll show Tom if we get to the flexing goal, you know? You can't see it. I think I'm going to take some pictures on for Fansly for this weekend or something. Because it's been a while since I uploaded. And I had an idea for a photo set. So that could be fun. Mormons literally wrote a plan out over 15 years ago that talked about how 2 out of 3 kids will stay in the church, so breeding members works best in the end. The numbers have dropped a bit lately, but it's been how all groups keep their numbers generationally. Yeah, weren't the Amish like one of the fastest growing religious groups a couple years ago? And I only say a couple years ago because this is when I remember reading about it. But the Amish was like one of the biggest, over 150 years ago. Yeah, like the Amish was one of the Rainbow Passage, rainbowpassage.org, Rainbow Passage. The Rainbow Railroad is a totally different thing that is mostly about getting... Rainbow Railroad, frankly, is about getting people out of dangerous countries and bringing them to the U.S., but the U.S. is the dangerous country now. So it's Rainbow Passage that's getting people from, like, Florida and taking them to Washington, or, like, helping them get, you know, settled in Philadelphia or whatever. Like, yeah. Body Break is a Canadian PSA series from the 80s reminding us to get up and move around once in a while. You gotta stretch, you know? You gotta reach for the ceiling. And ideally not touch the ceiling fan. Generally speaking, you don't want to smack your light fixtures. Ugh. What about Rainbow Road at 150cc? It's so hard to see in Rainbow Road. Yeah, right. What if someone did to Christians what they did to Native Americans, kidnapping their kids and teaching them that kindness is a good thing and we should let people who are different from us exist peacefully, actually. You know? Excuse me. I'm so burpy. It happens. Okay, yummy, delicious. So we do still have a couple of political things to talk about today. If you've not yet hit the like button, consider doing that. It's fast, it's easy, it's free. We just educated about Project. I could only find Rainbow Passage on Facebook. Did you type into your search bar rainbowpassage.org? Like, as though you're going to a URL, in the same way that you type in youtube.com/LuxanderReal. You gotta type in rainbowpassage.org. Because I know sometimes it doesn't want to show up on Google search. It's like a relatively new and small website. Definitely could use someone stepping on my back. Will return in kind. That's how, like, I am not really capable of popping my partner's back, but when he needs, like, the equivalent of being popped, even though only, like, a couple of our friends are able to do it, I'll walk on his back. Here's a fun tip from me to you. If you have a person who likes having their back walked upon, but obviously it's hard to maintain your balance on the slippery skin of a human's back, you can, like, have your person lay on the floor in a door jam. Even the website link on Facebook doesn't work. Stop doing that. Why are you doing? Oh, the website is unavailable at the moment. Oh, okay. The link on Facebook. I was like, why are you going to it from Facebook and not from the actual... Oh, server is temporarily busy. Oh, I wonder if there's just too many people trying to get on it. Was there a notification in the server? Which one of these is the Rainbow Passage? This one's the Rainbow Passage server. Announcements. Was there an announcement about the website being down temporarily? Okay, the server needed updating, and since then the node has been failing. So the website is actually down right now. It's been a few days, too. Should I eat chips or beef jerky? Both. Eat chips and beef jerky, but if you're gonna eat one, then pick beef jerky. Oh, but I was saying, if your person wants you to walk on their back, have your person lay on the floor in a doorway, and then when you step on their back, you can grab the door frame above your head and use that to, like, maintain your balance. And maybe even you can use it to, like, put more pressure. Like, you can push against the door jamb and put more pressure on. It's 95 degrees in my U-Haul rental waiting for keys. Stand outside next to the U-Haul, then. You silly? You silly beans? In kind is negotiable. How about cuddles for cracks? True. If you are having back pain, you can cover your skin in salt and olive oil to immediately feel saltier and greasier. Yeah, it'll distract you from your problems. It will distract you from your pain if you're just too oily and greasy now. Disgusting. My new girlfriend is a small little person. Definitely wouldn't walk on her. She is light enough I can easily carry her. That's cute, Mersh. That's adorable. Look at you. I'm so glad that you have a little person. That's adorable. And I'm already greasy. Yeah. What? I'm gonna need to ask someone at some point, how do you deal with cystic acne? Because I have a teenager who has cystic acne, and I'm gonna have to start buying, like, face wash for them and stuff. So, you know, any assistance you can provide would be useful to me. We are gonna talk about another news thing, okay? We're gonna do it. We've got 2 more news things. One of them I think is not gonna take very long. Cystic acne, my condolences. Transic acne is where it's at. True. I used hot compresses and Selsun blue shampoo when my acne was hella bad. Tea tree oil for acne. Okay. Salicylic acid or benzoyl peroxide. Tea tree oil compress / face masks can help. Retinol face cream. We got so many different suggestions. I got 2 people who said hot compresses and 2 people who said tea tree oil. Don't you need meds for cystic acne? I don't know. That's what I'm saying, is like, is this a prescription problem? It might be hormonal imbalance. Well, it's a teenager. So, and it's a teenager on testosterone, although I think that they had cystic acne before they started testosterone. You can do Accutane, tea tree oil shampoo. If topical stuffs don't work, that's your clue. It could be hormonal. Sure. Okay. I just wanted to get kind of a baseline reference. Maybe I'll just try to find, like, a face wash that has tea tree or something in it. Differin gel combined with benzoyl peroxide wash has been helping my cystic acne. Differin is strong, though. Make sure to moisturize regularly. They started having this acne before they were on tea. Tea tree helps more with fungal acne. Oh, okay. Add vitamin E oil to an oil soap for face cleanser. Okay. A moisturizer with salicylic acid. Okay, I'll look into it. I appreciate everybody's suggestions. You gave me a lot of stuff that I can look at. From my dermatologist, evidence-based topical ingredients are salicylic acid. I don't know how to pronounce this word. Okay, cool. So that's good to know. Okay, let's talk about this newspaper. Hit like if you haven't already. Do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Salicylic acid. Okay, thank you. Christ. Salicylic. Okay, thank you. I was like, I can't read. I was like, I feel like I'm having a stroke. I had a Mitch glitch for a second there. Had myself a Mitch glitch. Salicylic acid and benzoyl peroxide. Right? Yes. Okay. Salicylic acid. True. That's what we're going to refer to it from now on. 89 likes. I wonder if we can get to 100 today. Gorgeous. Oil cleansing followed by non-oil cleanser can sometimes help dislodge extra caca in the pores. Okay. Yeah, please wait. Luxander is loading. Let me get a loading screen. Doon, 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 doon. Just give me a minute, you know? We'll figure it out. Okay, this is another article from Dame News. Interestingly, I think I heard about this story before many other people heard about this story, and it's just taken me a long time to finally cover it. There is a small town newspaper, the Marion County Record, and there was recently a police raid on their offices and on the homes of many of the editors. So this is a really shocking crackdown on press that we're seeing here. Like, okay, this is a new thing that's happening. You know, we've seen violence toward journalists in situations like protests where you could have plausible deniability that you shot someone's camera directly in their eyeball with a rubber bullet and then they lost their eye, you know? Another depressing story. Yes, we're here for it. Journalists from the Marion County Record, a paper which reaches a rural Kansas area of less than 12,000 people, were doing some routine reporting 3 weeks ago when they asked local authorities about a restaurateur's DUI arrest. So yeah, it's like pretty normal, standard newspaper type stuff. Asking questions, city officials answer them, or maybe they don't. Newspaper decides to publish the story or not. You know, normal stuff. In this particular instance, the Record had not planned to press forward with the story until the police descended upon the news offices. There are only 5 cops in the entire county, and they all 5 showed up and read reporters their rights. They tore through the newspaper's offices, rifling desk drawers, seizing computers and phones, copying passwords and financial records, and then they moved on to do a similar ransacking of the editors' homes. Dame describes it as a scene straight out of a totalitarian playbook. The editors watched from outside their houses as the police tossed electronics cords and bank statements onto the floor and took routers and speakers out of the houses, leaving a scene of chaos in their wake. Yeah, why would you ever need to take someone's speakers? It's literally only to do terrorism on people. The newspaper's co-editor was 98-year-old Joan Meyer, a lifelong newspaper woman who shared management of the record with her son Eric. She intended to fight the cops in court for her paper's sake. She told the Wichita Eagle, quote, "These are Hitler tactics and something has to be done." However, the trauma of the raid overcame her. Allegedly, Joan was otherwise in good health, but the raid stressed her beyond bearing. She was unable to eat or sleep, and she collapsed the following day and died. Like, she died from, like, an acute stress as a 98-year-old person, you know? That can happen. I imagine it was, like, heart failure of some kind. Yeah, exactly. A 98-year-old woman. What a threat. Oh, my God. It still says GOP master plan on top. Yeah. I gotta get used to changing that. I'm still getting used to my new setup here. Let's see. Okay, now this says... Nope, rated. Let's just say rated. That's good. We can leave it there. I should probably give this, like, I should probably give it a new font, you know? Probably find a new font there. She's speaking from experience about Nazi tactics. I mean, she is old enough to have lived through that and to know for sure that that's what, you know, she would have seen it happening at the time. So the reason why this was even happening was that there was a local dispute, you know, there was like, it had something to do with a DUI of a local business owner, like the alleged DUI of a business owner, and they were just looking into it. But yeah, expect to see more of these kind of tactics. You know, right-wing politicians have used the idea of political bias to sidestep media criticism. The same media that exposed their wrongdoings was characterized as liberal, corrupt, and set on undermining American institutions. Law enforcement was one of these institutions, tasked by Republican politicians with maintaining white supremacy in the face of protests by marginalized people against the government. Going on about former President Donald Trump. Yeah, Trump's attacks on the press and his pointed statements of support for police during the protests of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor's deaths, like, we've been clearly seeing more and more anti-press sentiment. And now, yeah, we have police officers actually going and violently cracking down on, you know, just, again, a normal small town, like a rural newspaper. There's a video of this old woman telling them off. Oh, I haven't seen it. Oh, that's so sad, though. Republicans who are seeking electoral success with Trump's messages begin to echo them, criminalizing anti-police protest and characterizing any critical coverage as liberal bias. Police on the defensive over coverage of their misconduct responded with their loyalty, their donations, and their support for the GOP at unprecedented levels. So this article is just going into detail to, you know, draw connections between these events and, like, show that this is going to be an increasing presence. Here's a story that's actually more about, like, yeah, here we have, oh, yeah, this is video. Police raid Kansas newspaper. Do we have, yeah, we have footage of the raid. They're taking computers. I don't really want to listen to what she has to say right this second. Yeah, this is like a 2-minute. Yeah. They're coming in, they're taking stuff. Oh, yeah, does she... Yeah, they're federal... By the way, yeah, there's, like, federal laws that protect journalists from search and seizure. They, like, journalists enjoy, like, a slightly protected level of speech. Like, journalists have an even greater amount of, like, protection from search and seizure than most people do. Because of this, like, freedom of press, First Amendment principle that we have. Yeah, this police raid is prompting a First Amendment fight. There was a search warrant executed The police raid was prompted by a complaint from a prominent local business owner. Oh, okay, so the business owner complained to the police because she thought that they were going to issue an article about her DUI. She accused 2 city council members at a public meeting of illegally disseminating confidential criminal information about her. And again, they weren't even planning on, like, they were tipped off about the business owner's driving record, but they never published a story about it. They had, I think, intended to drop the story. I'm just reading, seeing if there's anything else in here. On Monday, the newspaper's attorney sent a letter to Marion Police Chief Gideon Cody accusing him and his officers of a, quote, heavy-handed move and advising him that the newspaper intends to, quote, take every step to obtain relief for the damages the raid caused. This is a plain violation of 1st, 4th, 5th, and 14th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution, as well as Sections 1, 15, and 18 of the Kansas Bill of Rights, urging the police department to refrain from viewing any of the material seized from the newspaper until the judge can hear the case. Oh yeah, that's not gonna happen. Although maybe they just took all the shit because they felt like taking all the shit, you know? Like, maybe they don't even have any plans to, like, plug in any of those computers and look up, like, oh yeah, those speakers that they took? Yeah, for sure. They're gonna, like, they're gonna hook those up and check them to see if there's any stuff in there. Okay, yeah, let's see. Joan, she has passed from this world, but we'll see one of her final rants here.
Not creative destruction.
I'm sorry. Why did you just start playing? I hope that wasn't going on for very long, because I was not able to hear it. Okay, so there's this video from Corpse Candy.
Don't you touch any of that stuff.
Ma'am.
This is my house. You're a police chief. You're the chief. Oh, God. Get out of my house.
How many computers do you have in the house, ma'am?
I'm not going to tell you. Get out of my way.
It's all right.
I want to see what they're doing.
Get out of my way. I want to see what they're doing. The audio just cut out there. But she is cussing at him and, like, telling him to get out of her house. Why did the audio go away? Strange. She said, get out of my way. She's like pushing him with her walker. Dude, that's funny.
Don't you touch any of that
I mean, it
stuff.
sucks that she passed away, but yeah, it is funny.
Ma'am.
Oh, man. Yeah, don't worry. Just violating your rights, ma'am. Nothing to see at all. So, not much to add on that one, TBH. It's just pretty spooky, and like that it happened in like small town Kansas. People don't really think about Kansas that much when they think of like the fascist takeover. They think of Texas, they think of Florida. It's like, nope, we suck here too. Flyover states represent. Anyway, all right, we'll pause that one for now. Oh, chat, on my way out of Florida a few days ago, I stopped at the Rainbow House in Topeka and dropped off several lesbian-oriented books at their little library box. If any of y'all live near it and want to grab something. Oh, that's really sweet, Rask. That's awesome. I've never been to the Rainbow House. I don't really get to Topeka very often, but maybe I should visit. Maybe we should visit on our way out, like if we're moving. Or like maybe I should just make a visit to go over there sometime. Luxander is an honorary Winchester for helping put Kansas on the map. Fucking supernatural. Come on. I'm supposed to cook dinner tonight, so I'm trying to figure out if I should... I mean, wow, this stream is so weird. This stream is, like, struggling to keep viewers, TBH. But this abortion in Texas thing, can I cover that in 30 minutes, do you think? Do you think I could cover that in 30 minutes? I feel like maybe I could cover that in 30 minutes. I'm making roast chicken and vegetables tonight. I'm making roast chicken thighs. They've been in the fridge brining since yesterday, so they're going to be some very juicy thighs, I hope. Yeah. and I'm gonna cut up some potatoes, and I have like a bag of frozen broccoli. I'm just gonna put all that on the sheet pan together and like pop it in the fucking oven for like 20 or 30 minutes, and it's gonna be so good. Delicioso. But it's like, oh, I can't wait too long, or it's gonna be a really, really, really late dinner. You know how it goes. But I'm also starting my streams half an hour later, so I'm only at the 2.5 hour mark right now. The struggle is real. So many struggles. Actually, might head out just a little early to go walk and make dinner before it gets dark. No worries. High fives. Can we get to 100 likes today? We gotta stay on long enough to get to 100 likes. That's all we need. That's all I want from this world is 100 likes, and then I can die happy. Well, won't that be lovely? Dude, or maybe we'll wait. God, it's like, if I do the abortion thing, it's like I'll wait. If I wait until Monday, or if I wait until Tuesday, there's gonna be some other crazy bullshit that's gonna happen between now and then I won't even be able to talk about it. Some of the viewership bleed maybe because DM is also live. Oh yeah, DM, she did just go. Did she just go live, or did she go live a little while ago? I know, we do have a little bit of crossover. TLDR, Texas is acting as a testing ground for Republicans stopping women from traveling. No, yeah, traveling out of state by passing city and county ordinances in red area. Like, yeah, I'm familiar with what's the concept. Anybody who looks like a woman can be stopped and arrested with no recourse until you reach a courtroom. If you're under suspicion of seeking abortion care, basically. So yeah, you know what? It's probably not going to take me more than 20 minutes to go over the whole thing, so we can do it before the end of the stream today, and then we'll start fresh on Tuesday. About the same as you, maybe an hour after. Yeah, she was starting a little late today, I thought. And of course I haven't gotten the notification from it, because my phone, it does streamer mode notifications for some reason, which is strange. We love Demon Mama. She's great. Even though her inconsistent stream schedule sometimes means that she... Yeah, perfect raid target. That's true. I can do that. I actually can do that. Let me... What is Mama's stream right now? I'm not planning on getting off right this second, but when I do... God, she has 267 people in there. I can't wait until I feel half as successful as Demon Mama. She has fewer subscribers than me, but her streams are so much more bumpin'. Just way more bumpin'. Okay, where do I add this? Hey, I've restricted for ad suitability. Nice. Lovely. Where is the thing? There is definitely a thing in here normally that's like... Here, yeah, like... Click through to the thing at the end of your stream. Whatever. Redirect. Yes, we will redirect. Yeah, when a stream is over, it'll redirect to Mama. Won't that be lovely? And then you'll have to tell her that you came from my show, won't you? You'll have to say, Luxander says hi. Okay, let's do the abortion thing, and then we'll call it quits after that, huh? Let me change the, text on screen. There we go. Cool. Excellent. We're going to talk about this now. Ooh, Kitty picked up a crochet needle this week again and is able to do at least some old simple patterns. I need to make 2 more mushrooms like this. Isn't it cute? It's green. Look at it. Look at it! Isn't it cute? It's a tiny mushroom. It has gills. Yes, gills. Okay, cute tiny mushrooms. It's my new thing. It's my new shtick. Only one reason I would like to go to Texas. Why would you want to go to Texas? There's no good reason. There's no good reason. Drink water. I finally got enough salt in my body. I've been drinking water in this stream and I don't feel the need to, like, go for a raging piss. Anyway. This is something I did not expect to see, y'all. This is a new attack on your rights to just exist as a human being in public. And, you know, of course, we're used to, like, oh, yeah, they're doing another drag ban. They're trying to restrict access to, like, whatever for LGBT people. They don't want us in public. This one's just for women. This one's just straight up for women. So let's start with this tweet thread. There's been lots of coverage about Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall wanting to charge anyone who helps patients get out-of-state abortion care, but they're missing something vital. Marshall also argued in his filing that the state can restrict women themselves from leaving the state. So this Alabama and Texas, I think, are the two states that we're going to be discussing here, because it's happening in more than one location. Marshall's lays the legal groundwork to enact restrictions on interstate travel by claiming the state has a, quote, strong legitimate interest, including preserving unborn life. And she says, you're not going to believe the case he cites to make this argument. Marshall writes that because it's not unreasonable for a sex offender to have to tell law enforcement when he changes residences, similar restrictions on women's travel for abortion care are legal. So we're making a comparison between, like, sex offenders and people seeking, like, abortion-related care, which also includes, like, to be clear, let's not forget that abortion-related care for a lot of people means, like, they're in the middle of having a miscarriage, and getting a DNC is what is going to help them pass that miscarriage without potentially getting septic, you know? Like, yeah, God forbid a pregnant person wants to go on vacay. You'll be stopped at the state border and have to justify yourself why you're leaving the state. Marshall is playing a fucked up game where he says that the state doesn't impose restrictions on travel, but even if they did, that would be fine. Yeah, the classic narcissist poem. Even if those minor restrictions were cognizable, they are constitutional nonetheless. The test applied in Doe v. Moore for burdens on interstate travel is reasonableness. The law easily clears that hurdle because, as applied to the plaintiffs, it is supported by strong legitimate interests, including preserving unborn life. Maternal health, especially considering that Alabama cannot police the medical standards of out-of-state abortion providers. The burdens plaintiffs allege as to the interstate travel of their clients, if burdens at all, are reasonable and thus constitutional. So the plaintiffs, like, they're suing, like, someone is suing and saying, no, you can't restrict interstate travel because it is an undue burden. And, like, also, in this particular instance, it's a violation of the 14th Amendment because you're treating women differently under the law. Like, you're policing women in a way that you wouldn't be policing other groups. Oh, yeah, and not even necessarily a pregnant person. Literally anyone who looks like a woman, cops will just be like, yeah, she seems suspicious. Not entirely surprising. So, yeah, Jessica Valenti's thread more or less ends there. Let's look at this. Texas highways are the next anti-abortion target. One town is resisting. Even in conservative corners of Texas, efforts to crack down on abortion travel are meeting resistance, with some local officials who support Texas's strict abortion laws expressing concern that the efforts go too far. So this is kind of like going into the fact that, like, there are certain highways. Where was it that I saw these pictures? Was it over here? There were pictures of certain highways that, like, certain areas in Texas have already tried to make, like, county laws. Like, in such and such county, you're not allowed to use the interstate highway for the purposes of seeking an abortion. Like, they're making it illegal to drive on the highway with the intention of getting an abortion later, basically. So, hold on. Yeah, let's see. What does this... Oh, this is Jessica's Substack. This is the details, the Substack post from Jessica Valenti, whose Twitter page we were just looking at. So yeah, in this week, Goliad County in Texas passed an ordinance making it illegal to take someone out of state for an abortion. Driving a friend or family member from or through the county so that they can terminate a pregnancy elsewhere would make you guilty of trafficking. This is part of a broader trend of anti-abortion ordinances across Texas seeking to limit people's ability to leave the state. This is not criminally enforceable, but these ordinances, like so many other anti-abortion laws in Texas, allow citizens to sue each other. The point being to instill fear. You don't have to ban travel outright if you make people too afraid to lend a friend gas money or a car to get out of town. Because you would be an accessory to a crime, basically, I think is the insinuation. Yeah, it's not criminally enforceable. This is just creating yes, eventually some of them are going to be attempting a criminal enforcement. And I think that's what was happening so Alabama Attorney General argued that people helping someone else leave the state for an abortion is participation in a criminal conspiracy. Under this interpretation of the law, even telling someone about a clinic where they could get an abortion would be a crime. One cannot seriously doubt that the state can prevent a mobster from asking a hitman to kill a rival because the agreement occurred through spoken word. So too here for conspiracies to obtain an elective abortion. Yeah, he's likening this to a mob boss, like a mob hit. Wonderful. Let's see. The Alabama lawsuit and Texas ordinance come just months after after Idaho passed an abortion trafficking law, making it illegal to bring a minor out of state for an abortion. Under this law, an aunt or a grandmother who helps a teenager get an abortion could go to prison for years. Yeah, and it's insane. A teenager who got an abortion, a teenager who is pregnant is most likely a victim of some kind of power dynamic or sexual assault or something. Sure, teenagers can have sex with each other, but especially if you're talking about really, really young teenagers, when a 12-year-old gets pregnant, that's oftentimes that's an adult family member. So you're trying to, again, prevent children who've been raped from getting access to abortion care. I would say that I want to unalive, but that's not true. I would just like to stop existing in this particular world for a while. It's not us. It's not us that's the problem. It's not us and our reaction to this that's the problem. The world is bad, and we should feel motivated to change it. We should be angry. Going back to the old days of DIY and back alley abortions, lots of people will die from it. Y'all, you know that we have a femicide that has never stopped worldwide, right? Women are still treated, and anybody who's assigned female who can be politically classed as a woman, we are being killed because of our reproductive use and because femaleness is inferior. It's a very deadly situation that's been going on for forever. Honor killings still happen, sex workers still get murdered. It's femicide. And women belong to all different kinds of groups, which is, I think, the only reason why it's not considered a genocide explicitly. But yeah, that's the whole thing, is that women are an underclass, and anybody who can be politically lumped in with women is an underclass. And so they're being policed and legislated in ways that other groups aren't. And it results in mass death. Yeah, how these people... Yeah, I know, Mama. It's crazy. Yeah, and then Jessica continues, Republicans aren't just coming after those who, quote, aid and abet abortions. This is laying the groundwork to ban travel for women themselves. Marshall says in his filing this week, for example, that Alabama doesn't, quote, forbid a woman to leave the state to get an abortion. He argues that the state is allowed to, quote, restrict travel when they have, quote, strong legitimate interests. And yeah, we're referencing a sex offender. Yeah, and so just to reiterate, this claim is saying that it is illegal to help someone leave the state to get an abortion, and it's legal to impose restrictions on an individual woman's ability to travel because of this, quote, vested interest that they have. In many places, the terrorization is working. For example, yesterday, The Guardian spoke to abortion providers in Texas who report that patients need to be convinced that the clinic is allowed to help them get out-of-state care. These women, they say, often show up without their partners or family members for fear that they could be charged with abetting their legal out-of-state abortion. Dude, I just almost started crying because it's bad enough if you're, pregnant and you don't want to be, but then, being like, I can't even bring my partner with me to the doctor because they could be charged with abetting a crime. Like, you know, if someone's gonna go down, I guess it has to only be me. People will also die leaving the state and trying to leave the state. There really will be illegal trafficking to get out. I mean, that's the thing, is like, yeah, you can say, oh yeah, we're making abortion legal, we're making travel for abortion illegal, but it's, all you're doing is pushing people into situations where they're going to do increasingly desperate and dangerous things to still get an abortion. You know, the rate of abortion is the same in places where it's illegal versus where it is legal, but the only difference is how safe it is. But the rate at which people seek and get abortions is the same. The only thing that affects rates of abortion is like access to birth control and other family planning. A young woman in Texas, forced to leave the state for an abortion after finding out her fetus was developing without a head, relayed this same sense of fear and isolation. She and her boyfriend Eric told no one about their plans. She said, quote, "It felt as if we were robbing a bank. That's how bad it felt." So, and then, yeah, so there are people who are resisting this. There are people who are still insisting on helping each other. And there are local places in Texas that are fighting back against this, that are saying, like, this is overreach. Even if I agree that abortion should be illegal, I don't agree on cracking down on, like, on travel. You know, like, preventing someone from going to a state where the thing is legal is an overreach even to these people. No abortion, no balls. Chop, chop. True. Spirit Airlines about to be the #1 abortion provider in the U.S. Oh my God. Imagine. There were 5 city council members who were deciding whether to make Llano the third city in Texas, or Llano, the third city in Texas to outlaw what some anti-abortion activists call, quote, abortion trafficking. A town of 3,400 people deep in Texas Hill country approached the podium to speak out against abortion. While the procedure was now illegal across Texas, people were still driving women on Llano roads to reach abortion clinics in other states, the residents had been told. They said their city had a responsibility to, quote, fight the murders. So there are some people who actually think within these communities that there should be restrictions on, like, oh, you can't use our roads to go do this thing. Like, imagine if it was specifically a crime to, you know, use a road on your way to commit a murder. It's like, not just that the murder is illegal, but that, like, you used a road to get somewhere, and that was, like, the thing. Like, that's one of the crimes that you're going to be charged for. It's Texas. They call it Llano here. Llano. Yeah, no kidding. I would not live in Texas if I could avoid it. Like, as a woman, you know, it's like, that's not a crazy thing too. Like, it makes sense to me that as queer people, you know, we're becoming refugees and everything. But even women as a whole, like all cisgender women, are probably going to be like making these choices because if you have a daughter, are you going to raise her in a state where if you found out that she got raped and was pregnant, she wouldn't be able to seek an abortion? And also, like, every time you want to go on an out-of-state vacation, you got to worry about potentially being accosted? Daggum Llano. True. I've been corrected pronouncing Blanco Road properly instead of Blanco. Oh my God, it's so annoying. It's like how we have a town called El Dorado in Kansas. I'm reading. Anti-abortion activists behind the measure are targeting regions along interstates and in areas with airports with the goal of blocking off the main arteries out of Texas and keeping pregnant women hemmed within the confines of their anti-abortion state. These provisions have already passed in 2 counties and 2 cities, creating legal risk for those traveling on major highways, including Interstate 20 and Route 84. Which head toward New Mexico, where abortion remains legal, and new clinics have opened to accommodate Texas women. Several more jurisdictions are expected to vote on the measure in the coming weeks. I feel like this is very obviously, like, I don't know, like, do we have, like, what does the Constitution say about our right to travel? Like, do we, like, Constitution, right to travel? Like, the right to travel is a far-reaching and essential privilege and immunity of citizenship in a broad federal union. It is guaranteed explicitly in Article 4 of the Articles of Confederation, and thus implicitly in Article 4 of the United States Constitution and the 14th Amendment. This is from Cambridge. Or, yeah, 14th Amendment. Okay, so this is Constitution annotation about the 14th Amendment. The doctrine of the right to travel actually encompasses 3 separate rights, of which 2 have been notable for the uncertainty of their textual support. The first is the right of a citizen to move freely between states, a right venerable for its longevity, but still lacking a clear doctrinal basis. Doctrinal basis, okay. So that's one that's been interpreted. Second, expressly addressed by the first sentence of Article 4, provides a citizen of one state who is temporarily visiting another state, quote, the privileges and immunities of a citizen of the latter state. The third is the right of a new arrival to a state, who establishes citizenship in that state, to enjoy the same rights and benefits as other state citizens. This right is most often invoked in challenges to durational residency requirements, which require that persons reside in a state for a specified period before taking advantage of the benefits of that state's citizenship. So there isn't this is another thing that is going to be up to the fucking courts. It's yet another thing that is going to be up to the goddamn courts, because the right to travel, like, is like in Article 4, it is expressly mentioned, but most interpretations of the right to travel are apparently, like, contextual and based on the interpretation of a court, of a justice somewhere. Exactly. You have a right to travel until they want to stop you from doing a thing that they disagree with. And, of course, it doesn't even matter if there's an originalist on the Supreme Court. Like, it's all going to be subject to their interpretation anyway. Even though it's obvious that all these anti-trans laws violate the 14th Amendment, they're still going to claim, oh, well, transition is not rooted in our nation's traditions or whatever. So they will come up with some BS reason to, like, to still limit those rights, even if they are explicitly enumerated in the Constitution, you know? Not even, like, again, not even withstanding the 9th Amendment, which always gets ignored in these conversations. Pretty irritating. Anyway. Air balloons? Yeah, travel through air balloons. In-air abortion. Yeah. We're gonna create a floating... We're gonna get, like, a helipad. Like, a floating... It's gonna be like, you know, the Avengers. Is it the Avengers where they have the helipad thing? There's like the airship. We're just gonna dock an airship over Texas. Right? It's like, oh God. Here's what someone should do. Someone should set up an abortion clinic just off the coast of Texas, which is still a far way to travel if you live in, like, northern Texas. But listen, is put it in international waters. Oh man. Yeah, if this goes to the courts, I'm not really optimistic. Sky Hospital, true. Ocean Hospital. It's gonna be like, it's like how in some states you'll if you want to go gambling, you got to go to the casino and it's literally on the river, because for some reason, like, because of the hocus pocus, like, the river is magically immune to, like, anti-gambling laws, you know, like, because it's happening on a boat. So let's just, I'm on a boat, motherfucker, take a look at me, some abortion clinics. That sounds perfect. Get an abortion cruise. I mean, yeah, you got to find the loopholes. I mean, you got to do it. How far out to the coast before you're in international waters? That's the question. How far out does it have to be? And then you've got a whole business of, like, oh, the boats. But then it's going to be like, they're going to make it illegal to get on a boat. Any boat could be taking you on the road that is the ocean to an abortion clinic. God damn it. All right, let's stop talking about this now. Oh. Oh, you go 12 miles out? 12 miles is pretty far. Let us take to the sea to perform abortion piracy. Oh, man. Whatever you gotta do. 24 miles for Coast Guard patrols. Jeez Louise. Okay. Oh, we did it. We did a news. Look at us. Look at us doing a news. We're so good at it. So much news. I don't think we're gonna get to 100 likes today, y'all. I also don't think that we're gonna get to the Flexi donation goal. I'm so sorry. Rip in pieces. No objectification for you. I know, what a newsy boy. Such a newsy boy. 12 nautical miles, not the same as regular miles. What is the difference? Difference between nautical miles and miles. A nautical mile is slightly longer than a mile on land. Okay, but not much. It's like 1.15 miles is 1 nautical mile. The nautical mile is based on the Earth's longitude and latitude coordinates, with 1 nautical mile equaling 1 minute of latitude. Okay. Well, thank you, XLR. I appreciate you. Okay, my voice hurts and I need to cook dinner. So I'm gonna wind down and get ready to do that. I can survive off-grid if I have to do so. They would have to hunt me in the woods if I tried to escape. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna raid Demon Mama. So if you successfully get over to Demon Mama's stream, you have to tell her that Luxander says hi, and then you have to hit like on her stream. That's an obligation that you have now. So I will let you go, and have a good weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Okay? Okay. Okay, be good. And go say hi to Demon Mama for me, okay?